In ancient history, a war between the newly created races of Toril and the forces of Hell left humanity nearly extinct. In the post-cataclysmic world, humans placed themselves above all others, while races deemed undesirable watched from below. Ferox, a newly created race intertwined with beast and elf, were regarded to be even more monstrous and were forced into servitude. During the war, the gods and goddesses gifted unique arcane artifacts to those fighting against the Hells. These items turned the tides of war and brought forth brand new schools of magic in the form of the mage class. Alas, magic and hope fade from a world on the brink of destruction. Our hope now lends itself to a select and unlucky few.
We're back! Hello everyone out there and welcome to another super duper awesome fun episode of The Unlucky Few. My name is Liz. We have the full crew. The full fucking moons out, goons out, bitch squad back in it. All five of us. All five of you around a table for the first time in over a month.
I'm back in my original seat.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
I forgot.
And lights.
Camera.
So, action. All right. So, announcements before we get started. We got a couple for you tonight. First and foremost, as always, this episode will be on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/toughdnd, on Wednesday at 7 p.m. as always.
I think it's a forward slash.
I'll figure it out either way.
It is, but it's fine.
/ToughDND Wednesday at 7 p.m. Next week, next Saturday, we will not be here playing Dungeons and Dragons for entertainment pleasure, unfortunately.
Yes.
At that specific time, myself, along with Maddie, Audie, and Cass, will all be down in Atlantic City having a
redacted city. I'm just kidding.
It's not. The place is technically not even in Atlantic City, but it's fine. If you want to come find us, fucking do it, you cowards.
Apartment number.
But we will. I was going to say we will all be down there celebrating a super fun bachelorette party for the wonderful Maddie. Likewise, Ash and Pat
We'll be dead.
Likely.
We'll be at a significantly less fun bachelor party.
You can't say because Derek might options.
A significantly less fun bachelor party. Sorry, bud.
It's because there's not going to be no boobs. I just wanted to say it like Peter. Is that what that was?
Yeah, so we will not be filming next week. We'll have a video for you to take the place of that. We're not sure which one yet, but it'll be one of them. And then we'll be back at it again with the white vans. Damn, Daniel.
You guys really had the...
Damn, Daniel.
So
Back at it again with the...
I thought you had vans like the car, and I was like, why?
No. But we will be back at it again come next. So the Saturday afterwards?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So catch us then. I believe that is all of our announcements, unless anyone has anything that I'm missing.
Nope.
I'm tech again, as per usual at this point.
Yeah, I was about to say, our tech person just works every Saturday now. He doesn't get time off. He just works forever until he dies.
Look, we're getting married. It's expensive.
So, with that out of the way, are we good for me to start the recap?
Yep.
Excellent. Then let's not waste any more time and get right into tonight's fun. I have recap music now.
Oh my god.
What a fucking world we live in. God, yes. Oh, that reminds me. I need your earbuds after the break. I have
I have them in my pocket. Do you want them?
not right now, no, because I need another piece. But I'm gonna like plug your earbuds into one of the outputs here. I just need like a converter, and then you're gonna put it in one ear so you can hear the music and also hear everybody else.
Okay.
This is gonna be fun. Anyway, where we last left off. Only 4 people here last week, but even still, you guys partook in a fight after Syl was drawn out into the open by a plan by Fendian, a very well thought
our
through plan.
Oh yeah,
So after discovering that Syl held one of the instruments of fate, the harp / longbow on his back,
Yes.
sorry, I'm just know something's happening and I don't like it.
A rogue is being a rogue.
A rogue is being a rogue. So upon him finding out that you had one of the instruments of fate, he proceeded to allude to the fact that he was essentially just going to.
I noticed the first time.
He was just going to essentially murder you and take what he wanted from your corpse. You sent a very frazzled message to one Rax, who proceeded to rush in with the rest of the party. Upon the battle's start, Syl was thinking about making a quick getaway, but his plans were unfortunately dashed when his allies were too quick to attempt to protect him. He was getting protected by both Night and Autumn, who both took quite a beating for their efforts. Night actually going down over the course of the fight. But the rest of you, all the PCs, were able to handle everything quite well, with Syl landing the killing blow on Balthazar, and Kai landing the killing blow on a Nightmare.
I blew that thing up.
Nat 20 out of nowhere. After everyone fell, you proceeded to look through a couple notes, but before you could loot the body of Balthazar and Belial, 2 shadowy figures showed up. Having seemingly watched the fight, despite the fact that it took place on a demi-plane and also coming from an area of the map which some PCs had just previously been at and had not noticed them. They talked to the party, informed them about an assassin's guild that they were a part of that apparently operated out of Neverwinter, before dropping a hint that alluded to something that Syl was able to read in the researcher's notes. They tossed you guys all of the gold that Balthazar had on his corpse, as well as... DM, they said, it'll be fun, they said. It'll be so much fun, they said. All of your friends are super wonderful and mature and will appreciate you, they said.
Who said that?
No one. It's
only D20
like being a preschooler. Like being a preschool teacher, honestly.
Okay, so we got all his gold.
So he got his gold. They also tossed you several of the magical items that were kept on his person. And one of the masked figures, the one who did not remove their mask at all, drew some sort of arcane sigil off of his body and sort of absorbed it, absolving him of this, before all of them snapped, vamped out, both the 2 individuals as well as the corpse.
But we did get their names. Well, possibly names.
Yes, you got the names Shadowmourne and
Thistle.
Yeah, I'm gonna name my kid Shadowmourne.
Though Thistle did give you an additional name that rung a bell with something that Syl had read.
I'm gonna butcher name Cardus?
Cardus.
Cardus, thank you.
Which, if you shared all of your notes with the party,
Yes,
right? Which was noted as the name of one of the other instruments of fate, is the name that he gave for himself. So, some lines to be drawn if you were so bold. Proceeding down into these ruins, you found a temple of sorts to essentially the demigods of the Ferox. It had all 6 original animals in their glory in marble statues, gem inlaid mosaics on the walls. Before the party found that one of the statues was holding an orb that was glowing. And it was that of the Twilight Mouse. Upon activation through magics from Arwynn, the statue shifted forward, allowing the party to travel back into a private sanctum with an altar for worship that also held the instrument of fate alluded to in the researcher's notes, as there was meant to be one down in this temple that he was looking for. As Arwynn picked these items up, a rapier and a main gauche, essentially a rapier and a parrying dagger, it's a combination weapon, Syl proceeded to begin to set up the invitation, great, the identification ritual that he had previously used on his own item that he had found deep within the libraries of Baldur's Gate.
Instrumentum Costco.
Knosco, but regardless. As Syl began to draw the sigils necessary and set up the required materials, as this, you have enough for one more casting of the spell, which you are using now. The spell does require 50 gold pieces worth of black agate, 50 gold pieces worth of sage, and 50 gold pieces worth of white pine, which the spell does consume.
That's a lot.
150 gold pieces of casting, yeah. But as Syl set all of this up, that is where we ended last week. What?
Can I have all my dice back, please?
But that is where we ended last week, was still setting up the ritual. And so that is where we will pick up this week. And so, Syl, as you continue setting up the ritual, what would everybody like to do?
Can I d20 back, please? Thank you.
Does this get cast like a ritual? Like 10
It takes 10 minutes.
It does take 10 minutes to cast. It can only be cast as a ritual, and the spell always takes 10 minutes to cast. It cannot be cast.
Can I go back out and look at the other statues?
Go for it.
Like, I wanted to see if they each have different gems, or they all have like the same type of gems that are inlaid.
The gems are inlaid in the walls.
Okay.
The gems form like a mosaic,
Gotcha.
and you are able to. Somebody already rolled for this and was able to figure out what it was, but it is essentially a huge. It's about 60 feet tall and about 220 feet wide, of just with gems depicting the Twilight Grove, which was the place where the cataclysm occurred.
Okay.
Where the elves. I was about to say where the elves. What?
That's where like the Ferox were created, right?
Even T's fingers started to become sticky.
Yeah. I was saying they were like salivating on it.
Yeah, I was about to say. But yeah, it's depicting the Twilight Grove, where the elves gathered, where the Ferox were created, where they cast the spell. The statues themselves are just made of solid pieces of carved marble. Each of them are about 15 feet by 15 feet, and about 30 to 35 feet high. Mm-hmm. And each one is depicting a different animal. There is the silver monkey, there's the Twilight Mouse, there's the Dusklight Dragon, among others. Mm-hmm. There's one for each of the 6, though the only one who was holding, all of them had orbs that were inlaid in the statue, but it was only the Twilight Mouse that had one that was very faintly glowing.
Which gives us
Can I do questions. I don't know what kind of check it would be, history or religion, to see like what the significance of each animal is, to like know why they were the ones that made. What is your what background did you pick again? Inheritor.
Didn't we go over it last time? Like Luna explained it to Arwynn aloud.
I have explained what happened, but not why.
Yes, but specifically, I think what Fen is asking here is something different. Is a different question. Yeah, go ahead and roll a history check.
That's gonna be a 7.
7.
I don't know.
You remember reading this in a book. You're not particularly sure, like why they were there. That would require a great deal of research and insight. Mm-hmm. But the reason that these 6 animals were selected is something that everybody does know, so you would know, is because they just so happen to be these 6 animals that were present, in the in sight distance or within the grove, as the spell was released.
Okay.
So that is why the energies were transferred to them.
Gotcha.
And I'll say, even as a special bonus, are you proficient in history?
No.
No?
I'm proficient in religion.
Fair. I'll say as an extra bonus, you would also, as a fun fact, the reason why, like ancient dragons are big boys, but like the dragon pharaohs are not very big boys, and the reason for that is because the dragon that was present, when the spell was let loose, that caused the cataclysm and caused the creation of the pharaohs, was a pseudo dragon. So that explains their smaller stature. Yes, because you would notice even the male Ferox as they are referred to, when you helped him out of the sewers, he was probably 16 or 17, like fully grown physically, but still only about 5'2". They're still like
Petite.
on the smaller side. They're about the size of like smaller elves.
Okay.
About as thin.
That's all I do. I'm just looking around, admiring the art and everything.
Yeah. No, it is beautiful, pristine, and untouched. It is. And also, just you like would have never seen anything like this before, especially honoring something like
the Ferox.
The Ferox, yeah. So it's definitely a little odd and seems really old, because it is like the kind of nice that it makes the palace look like Dust Town.
Gotcha.
After like 7 or 8 minutes of what I imagine to be Syl just like muttering to himself and drawing symbols on the ground, T's gonna walk up to him and be like, "So what the fuck are we doing?"
So I identified my weapon, the harp, to turn into this bow.
Sort of.
Pretty much how I was able to do that was through this ritual here, and I'm going to be doing it for Arwynn, so he knows how to use his.
Do you like need help?
Who's else in the room? I know it's Kai, Luna.
It is the 4 of you, Knight, Luna.
Yes.
All right. I don't know magic.
You don't need to know magic.
Okay.
But actually, you've been around the world quite a bit, right? Searching for Gruff.
You could say that.
I would like for you to be there. You might possibly. We go to a place. It takes us somewhere briefly to unlock it. You might recognize the mountain range. I know I don't. I doubt Arwynn would, if Arwynn hasn't been far from Baldur's Gate.
Sure. I've lived in a mountain for a while, so I might.
Just imagine a sad, dirty cave.
All you have to do is just stand in the ritual once it's done. Arwynn, you as well, please.
I couldn't hear the first half of that sentence.
Just stand in the circle, please.
He'll leap over the border of the circle into it.
Incredible.
It's gotta wait 3 more minutes.
So it's just Aqua and Luna?
Knight and Luna.
Knight and Luna.
Yes,
okay.
Because there was one lantern left, and it appeared that Fen and Knight walked in at the same exact time, and one lantern extinguished.
Okay. Before I step on the circle, I would like put my bag off to the side, and I would like put Mouth on top of it and be like, protect the bag, and then go back to the.
To Mouth.
Yeah.
Knight, Luna, do you mind telling the others we might be a bit? The only time I've done this ritual before, it took a few hours, so we might just be a few hours, even though only a few minutes go by for us.
Knight kind of like looks at you for a second and just. How much longer is this ritual going to take for you to complete?
3 minutes.
Don't know. Only done it once before.
You had to guesstimate.
Couple minutes.
Cool. She just sprints off.
I don't like this.
Luna looks at you and then looks down at the circle and just takes a very big step into the circle.
Why are you getting into the circle?
You see this place?
Yes.
You see these?
Yes.
Call me curious.
No, you're Luna.
Curious George.
Sorry.
Go home.
If you say that in character, she will literally look.
There's no Curious Georgia though.
You too.
About, I would say 2 minutes later, you have about a minute left in the spell, a significantly sweatier looking knight would come back into the room just like panting. Just be like, they know.
I see her run by. I see her run back.
I was just to say, she literally got like halfway up and literally was just like, message, and then like started sprinting back, because you guys got about 350 feet, like, you're about 350 feet like underground right now, because there has been a lot of fucking
Wait,
steps.
so does she send me a message?
No,
No.
she got like within
Okay.
120 feet of the entrance,
Gotcha.
sent a message, and then started sprinting back.
To the like 8 people waiting upstairs.
So now she is just like
I'm
bent
gonna follow her
over.
back because she's fucking running. I'm
What?
like, oh god, what's happening? I follow her to where she runs and then I follow her back because I'm nervous. I'm like,
Why did you have to run?
She'll stand inside the circle.
oh, this looks like fun. Okay, I stand inside the circle too, and that's just because
Then
he wants to be
to say
included.
with about 15 seconds left, you would hear a noise coming up the corridor that leads to like the outside where the statues are and to the inside of this, and you just hear,
Oh, okay.
What's one more?
and just see the wormling kind of like glide and look around, spot Arwynn, and just glide to and just kind of like tries to like land gently into you, but just kind of just like nosedives into your chest a little bit with just a happy like
My baby.
kind of like knocks you on your ass. You're just kind of like sitting there, and now wormling just kind of
Good
half
dragon
in your
charm.
lap, half on your chest.
This is good. Wormling can come too.
It's kind of funny.
He's just like leaning against the wall, watching you like he was studying his nails. I'll set this one out.
Don't go through my shit.
So I go through her shit.
Oh, should we not take our things with us?
I don't care anymore.
You're finishing in 10 seconds.
It's a strange.
9,
I
8,
just have my stuff with
7,
me.
So he gives
6,
you like a death glare.
5,
like, don't go through my
4,
He
3,
just grins at you.
2,
Bye, Kai.
1,
Where are we going?
gone.
Where are we going?
You're alone in a room. Would you like to try and go through T's belongings?
Maybe if she hadn't taken that 200 gold pouch, I wouldn't.
You don't know.
I saw him throw the pouch down on the floor. And
Yeah,
it
I was
sounded
gonna
like
say,
gold.
it
If
wasn't
anybody knows what
stealthy.
gold
They
sounds
threw
like,
it,
it's me.
they threw it on the floor, and it sounded like gold.
Yeah, let's go for it.
That
Let's do
15 friendship points.
Oh, roll an investigation check.
Oh
What's
no,
wrong?
you're gonna find her lewds.
it. They're drawn. What is she rolling for?
Roll an investigation check. You.
Oh, me.
When I told Mouse to protect my bag.
Oh no,
You're gonna do as much as a mouse can.
Fight.
That's funny.
These are
Hey,
all,
you wrote those notes. You wanted someone to read them.
They are all sealed, so you will have to unseal
Oh
them.
no. I don't want to face
Don't.
that fury.
Don't hand them yet, because first we're gonna go to you guys.
I just wanted to be an Arwynn the possibility.
Except I'm the only one in the room, and if anything's gone, she'll know it's me. The mouse ate your homework, sorry.
So it's me, Fen, Sil, T, Luna, and the Wormling, and all went.
Yes. So,
Here we are.
for all of you, you're suddenly lurched. You can feel like your stomach drop as you just kind of shift forward at a force that is completely unnatural. It feels like it goes on for maybe a couple of seconds before you come to a stop. All of you looking at each other as a white mist begins to just fill space. It grows from white to silver, and it becomes hard to see some of your other companions until it eventually gets so thick that you can't see anyone else at all. And you are just now in solitude in this mist.
Hello.
God, I love having fucking music. God damn it, I love this. So, the mist begins to settle down and begins to go from filling the whole space to just filling up to about your head, to dropping down to your neck level, to dropping down to about waist level, to dropping down to about knee level, and that's about where it stays. But as it drops down past your face, and you can see, you still don't see any of your companions. and slowly the landscape begins to shift, and suddenly you're not standing in a vast gray misty expanse. You're standing in a forest. You're standing in a forest. You're standing in a forest. You are standing in a forest. You can see through the trees on the very brink of your vision. It looks like a clearing in the forest.
Well, that's one of my theories.
How does the ground be like, and then walk towards the clearing?
As you walk towards the clearing, the interesting thing you notice is you walk towards it, and there's like a set number of trees you have to pass before you get there. And you pass all those trees, and you look up again, and you are no closer to the entrance of the clearing.
Stop running.
No closer. But as we come to you, Arwynn, the misty expanse fades, and trees begin to sprawl all around you, but you are standing in the center of the clearing. You notice two presences behind you, but are unable to interpret who and what exactly they are. Also important, none of you can see each other.
Oh,
All of you are experiencing this separately.
So just sits down, takes out his journal, starts sketching, writing notes, because this is different from his ritual.
In front of you, Arwynn, holding the rapier and the dagger that you were previously held when the spell was cast, is that very same figure from the mosaics of this inner chamber. The mouse ferox, who is dressed in the armor, the female mouse ferox who is dressed in the armor, appeared to be of a champion of some sort. Her brown hair, kind of shorter on one side, longer in the back and on the other, kind of pulled down to one side, kind of shimmering, a combination of leather and silver armor, just kind of like gleaming as it's just polished and just perfect. Piercing blue eyes as they look directly at you.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It has been a very long time since we had a visitor.
Who's we?
You will see. But still, I am very impressed that you have found such a place. And you brought company.
More like they brought me.
I see. So, was it she who led you here then? You kind of feel a light nuzzle on the back of your knee as you look down, and the wormling is just kind of like sitting there, like looking all around, but then like looking up at you for like to make sure you're still there, and then looking all around again, and then looking back up at you, and then kind of like peeking around you to see this figure. She just kind of like smirks to herself.
Oh, she's my favorite, but I don't think she'll let us here. There was a dude blowing up the upper levels, and we found a tunnel he almost found.
I see. I had been wondering what the disturbance in the upper portions of the temple were. It had been a very long time since anyone had visited and worshipped at the temple. I was beginning to fear it lost. But I see you have found it, and have found your way inside as one of our kind. And it appears you have found one of our artifacts as well.
So she has them, right?
Currently, yes.
I'm not holding them anymore.
No, she is kind of like gestures with them as she says it.
I don't know if I'm supposed to take them or if I'm supposed to leave them here, or I don't. But they seem like they're important.
To find your way here, when the world is in such a state as this, is most interesting indeed. Perhaps you were meant to have them Though, whether or not you are is unfortunately not my decision.
Whether or not I am what?
Whether or not you are meant to have them is not her
Got ya.
decision. That would be their decision. She sort of gestures to her side. The mist builds up for a moment, swells around, and as it drops, there is... So when you've seen like the Mage Hand spell, it's interesting because the legerdemain used for that is like the faint blue outline of like an arcane hand, the energy kind of binding together to form the physical object. And this is much the same, though it's a bit more of a silvery blue and almost feels like a lot more tangible. Whereas like a mage hand looks like if you threw something at it, it would pass right through it. This almost appears tangible. But it is a large form of a mouse.
I was thinking it, but I was not going to say it.
Spooky forests. The mouse's mouth does not move, and inside your own head, in Sylvan, you hear... Hello, child. It has been so long since one of our children have been at this very exact place. Do you know where it is that we stand?
Not a single clue.
My dear, you stand in the Twilight Grove, the very place where our race was birthed. A place once where elves came to attempt the most ambitious, arcane experiments ever created and attempted on this world, and where they failed, so miserably, where they lost their lives, and where they transferred their powers to the animals that were left in the grove. As the voice says this, you hear, the three of you hear a voice. You can't quite make out any of the details of what it's saying, but you hear a voice sort of echoing in whispers through the twigs, through the branches, through the leaves and the trees and the grass. And as it gets to this point, even though you can't make out the words, the mist kind of swells up behind you, and you see the ghostly figures of elves marching towards the clearing.
I follow them and try and touch them.
You go
but, like, in the dumb bitch way of like, hello?
You go to touch one and your hand passes right through. They seem to not even notice you, and no matter how hard you run, they appear to be getting closer to the clearing, and as you can't, regardless of how hard you run and how leisurely they might be walking, you seem to just find yourself infuriatingly falling further and further behind them. Tell me, child, how fares the world?
Not.
I had feared as much. I appreciate you coming to one of our places of worship.
If I knew it existed, I would have come sooner.
That gladdens my heart to hear. It is an odd fate that our people have had, blamed for something which we had no part in.
Unfortunate.
And now, given a part to play that is far greater than any love we have ever received. My apologies for this, but I do believe a portion of this burden may unfortunately fall to you.
No, I almost said lucky me, but I don't want that to be misconstrued. as being snappy. I think he says that out loud.
What, lucky me?
Lucky me. Oops, I don't mean to sound rude. I don't know how to respond.
Do not mistake me. You will not be alone in this endeavor. I will give you my blessing, as well as, and she gestures towards the weapons, the gifts that I have to give. But there is a part that our people must play. There is a ritual that must be followed, and a race that must be united in order to stand against the times that are to come. We in this grove, the 6 of us, the spirits who still live here, have seen what is to pass in your world. And not just your world, but all of the worlds that exist out there. Both the plane that you live on and the other planes that call this realm home are in very dire need of a very abrupt change of course. And there is unfortunately a part that you must play in this, if you will. There are... This is but one of 6 temples of this nature. Each one, at this point I imagine, long buried or lost. Each one honoring a different spirit, a different guardian. Inside each of these temples is an artifact, much like the one before you. The mist before you falls to the ground, revealing something, an orb, similar to the orb that you had cast magic on in order to gain entrance here, but it is... the colors for it are hard to describe. It is such a combination of light blues and bright yellows and deep violets and kind of like stark crimsons that it almost looks like a sunrise and sunset sort of simultaneously. This is the Twilight Crystal, representing the Twilight Mouse, which is me. There is one final temple that you will find after you visit the 6 others. There will be a place in this temple, after a long and grueling test, where you can set all 6 of these crystals within a single altar of sorts. You're good. Once you set all 6 crystals in the altar, the purpose of this quest will be made clear to you. I know that this will be a very dangerous and this quest will be hard. I will not lie to you, and I apologize for burdening. That's the word I'm looking for. Burden. Woo. Shut up.
Words.
I apologize for burdening
Don't be proud of that.
one such as yourself to do this task, but I can sense something within you.
Is it fear?
At least Arwynn's honest.
Simply natural to be afraid of the unknown and things such as this, but no, I can sense that this is a task that you are worthy of. After all, she'll gesture to the 2 presences behind you. There are sort of like 2 glowing orbs of consciousness on either side of you. Intangible, but familiar all the same. You are in good company. This will not be a task that you have to do alone. Trust in yourself, and trust in those you trust. And if all else fails, then trust in me, and I will do my best to guide you. The mouse kind of disapparates, kind of back into the mist, as the champion figure steps up to you, first holding out in two hands open to you the dagger. This is to be yours now.
Hesitantly, we'll take them out of her hands.
Arwynn EXE. I said Arwynn EXE. Confusing.
Rebooting.
I present to you Calamity.
The dagger? Or the
Yeah,
sword?
the dagger. Sorry, do you want to share that with the class?
No, Pat and I are just on the same wavelength, and he said aloud what I thought in my head.
Would you like to share with the class?
No. Jane.
After you,
Six
Climb
HP.
me, Jane.
after you take it, presents to you the rapier
I'll tell you when you're old.
and your sword. Do you take it?
Gingerly.
Cataclysm.
Ooh. There's just some nice names there.
These swords have the power to destroy, as I'm sure you are aware the Cataclysm did. But as all things have the ability to destroy, she will gesture at herself and gesture at you. They also bring the power to create anew. Use that power wisely. For you can bend many things to your will that others cannot, and reach things that others cannot. So, that is yours now. I am excited at what you are to discover, both about yourself and about who we are as a whole. I believe you will achieve great things.
Hopefully I can live up to these expectations. Gonna do my best.
That is enough for me. Should you need me, simply visit here, or just think very hard. We will not be far. With that, as you can see near the bottom, you learn 2 spells that are custom spells associated with that weapon.
Ooh.
Powered kill.
Exactly.
Power
Powered
sword kill.
fuck.
Stop.
My favorite.
I would suggest when you can, look for the stones that will imbue this weapon with further power.
Interesting.
For it is then that you will find what our kind are truly capable of. But while I cannot tell you where to find them, what I can say is to first look for the Dawn Stone. And she will gesture towards one of the crescent-shaped imprints on your weapon. Then look for the Dusk Stone. She'll gesture towards the other crescent. Making sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, Dawn and Dusk. And finally, the Twilight Stone. And she'll gesture towards the open, sort of spherical indent.
No, I'm just. There's obvious differences in just the place, the person, and the stones itself. So I'm just paying it some note.
Find these things, and the weapon's power will grow with you.
I'm kind of short. I don't think I'm gonna grow anymore. Is that gonna be a problem? Sorry. Now is not the time. Ignore that.
Wow.
All in character.
Situations like this often call for a little humor. If you take everything seriously, well, your adventures tend to be a lot shorter.
Fair enough.
Wow, sorry, they're doing some fucking shit like next door.
I can't. I'm hearing banging.
You hear correctly.
Say it feels like they're just like, hey, you know, it'll be fun, and just sort of like
Throwing their bodies
I was
like a
say,
ball.
it feels like they're throwing one of those like metal folding chairs just against the wall repeatedly.
Playing with a medicine ball and it's getting real.
It's
You
just
know what a
fake-
medicine
you-
ball is?
Do you have any further questions for me before I send you back?
In character.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions, and none of them are coming to mind. Why did what?
In character.
Yes.
We had temples and worshippers at one point. What happened?
Specifically, well, we were blamed for the death of the elves. We were the only remnant remaining of the failure of the armies of humanity as they attempted to seal the material plane from everything else in order to stop the invading abyssal and hellish forces. And this, my dear child, is what began the decline of magic. Our people are blamed for that. It is also what brought about a thing like specifically what the humans most hate us for, even though they have never said this. The fall of the Netheril Empire, their great giant floating cities in the sky crashing to the ground, and death for every single member of their society inside of them. Somebody has to take the blame for that, and we were the only ones left. And so for a time, yes, we did worship. Because in case you have not noticed, I'm sure you have, as you'll have used your abilities to enter into the temple, there's power that resides within us. Innate fighting, knowledge, magical capabilities that no human could ever hope to match. And so while they blame us, they also fear us.
They should.
I would agree. But still, even those who have treated us so poorly still do not deserve the fate that is about to beset this world.
Yikes.
Such is the way of things now. I trust you will know what to do when the time comes. But relax, there is plenty of time to grow and learn in the meantime.
If I don't know what to do, I'll figure it out when I get there.
You will do just fine. And with that, the mist begins to swirl back up. It swirls around her torso and her face before she disappears from view. The two orbs of consciousness slowly back out. All of you would have seen the elves go in to the clearing. The voice stops that you heard before, and you hear chanting in a language that you don't quite understand. And finally, as the mist swirls up higher and higher and higher, the very last thing you see before it encompasses your face, your head. It's just a bright flash of white. A brief second of screams and silence. As you are all brought back into the temple. So, all of this conversation occurred over about the course of, I would say, all in all, you were probably there for about 2.5 hours. So,
That's a lot of time for Kai.
you go to investigate T's bag. You take 1 step towards it, 2 steps towards it, and everyone flashes back in. You are still approximately 10 feet away from the bag, and everyone has just appeared back in. Time for yours went. Your time.
A few seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you did Sills, they were only there a few minutes, but in reality it was a few hours. And here you were there a few hours, but in this reality it was only a few seconds. Fun demi-planes, right?
I just imagine we arrive back and we're just like, what the fuck? Because she was just running that entire time.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, no, Kai's still 10 feet away from the bag now, kind of probably.
Yeah, I
a little
probably
bit
jumped when you
panicked
flashed back in.
everybody, but everyone is probably a little preoccupied. Your 2 NPCs are also, and the wormling is looking a little dazed, and your 2 NPCs are just looking confused as fuck.
Dazed and confused.
It was quite beautiful. I looked up at the stars.
I
How did my
thought you
wormling
said a
get to the
few
clearing?
hours.
What?
Why did
They
the
were
wormling
hearing
get
the
into the clearing?
screams.
Well, I didn't like that
What
part.
are you doing?
But the parts before the
Just
screams.
waiting. You were only gone for a
were
few
nice.
seconds.
Before we got to get a little glimpse into the great cataclysm.
Maybe like
Say, Luna would
4
just turn to you.
seconds.
What did you guys see?
We were just in a forest. Very pretty
Oh.
forest. We saw a lot of. Well, I don't know what you guys saw, but I saw a lot of ghosty elf spirits.
I was with Arwynn in the center of the clearing.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we were in different places, considering you both are much more tied to this than we are.
I looked behind me and couldn't tell who was behind me, right?
No, you just saw orbs of consciousness.
There was two somethings behind me. Maybe one of them was the wormling, but I didn't see
I
anyone
guess
else.
I must have been the other one.
I didn't see.
I saw you. I couldn't see my own body, but I saw you, and you were talking to this. Her. And points to the champion up on the wall. And then a mouse, but like a spirit mouse.
Yeah, big mouse. The Twilight mouse.
Do we know the champion's name?
Do I? I can't remember. I didn't ask.
Aw.
Fucking asshole!
Just
I
think really
fucking-
hard and go back.
Oh, I'm so mad.
We need to go back!
Still do it again.
I'm so upset.
We all give Syl gold toy.
Might be able to read some books when you get back to the library.
Speaking of, you're welcome for doing the ritual.
Dab on himself.
My.
While you're talking, Luna just turns towards Knight. What did you see? Knight's just like, same thing as they saw, but I couldn't see any of you guys. Could you see any of each other?
No.
Nope.
Shit.
Frox is 2 R's, right?
1 R. It's
I always get it wrong.
F-E-R-O with the line over top the O.
That's what it is.
And then
Thank you.
X.
Sorry. I just
To,
wanted to
to
make sure I
denote
get
a
it
long O, which is why it's not Ferox, it's Ferox. It's like
Got it.
why you kind of roll the R a little bit.
That was just like I said.
Nope. That is
Samantha
how...
race.
I know.
Wow, in front of speech impediment, huh? No, okay.
Yep.
Listen.
We're listening.
Not at all what that was.
Well, what did you learn?
That there are 6 more temples exactly like this, or 5 more temples exactly like this. Each has another important artifact weapon inside of it, corresponding to each of the Ferox animals. And then there's one more temple where you can take all of the Twilight gems and put them on an altar, and something happens.
Funny.
Well, I think
You're also, Arwynn is holding the 2 weapons now, and you are all, well, you have the weapons kind of holstered on the side now. In Arwynn's hands is the Twilight Gem.
Oh shit.
now, Arwynn, Do you mind testing to see if you can bring out the ability of your new weapons?
Was it also turned into an instrument? Or
No.
is the instrument part
I
not
think that's a
always
bard
literal?
thing.
Okay, I didn't know if it was always literal for the instrument part of Instrument of Fate.
Instrument can be a general term.
Well, I understand that, but the first one we happened to see was a harp.
From what I've figured, at least, this is Night talking. From what we've learned from this, I think the instrument part isn't always literal. I think that might just be that case, as your artifact appears to be specifically made for someone who studies the bardic arts.
Wonderful.
Well, I'd assumed you'd figured that out. Yeah.
I'm gonna put that gem somewhere deep into one of my pockets.
You do have a lot of pockets.
I have many pockets. This one's a secret pocket.
So
You
many
can't even
pockets.
see it once it's in one of my pockets. You don't know where it went.
I love that.
Wanna see me put this in my pocket?
cute.
Wanna see me
I was
do it
gonna
again?
You wanna
say,
see me do
it's
it
literally one of like the most important notes that that Cass went over like 8 times in their backstory. Was the fact that they have cargo pants with like a fuck ton of pockets.
Just pockets everywhere. Stuff in every pocket.
Those micro pants are awesome.
You never know when you'll need
Put Arwynn on a scale and he's like 200 pounds.
It's
How do your pants stay
Or
up?
cobalt.
Got a really good belt.
I have you know
months
that
on.
bag
All
that
at
Cat
once.
has with that spell cast on it that makes it really deep? Yeah, all of my
Cast on your
pockets are like that.
That'd be really funny.
Pants of
I can
holding.
hide inside my own pants. Like that.
Well, whenever there's an enemy, you just gotta take off your pants and we'll hide inside of them.
Oh, good stuff.
I was to say Arwyn's pants just fall to the ground and Arwynn just fucking disappears. It's like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi when he gets hit by the lightsaber. Just like,
I just cave in on myself.
I guess we should put his pants on the funeral pyre. Oh.
Ow, I
pants
popped.
one day and you just Rock Lee it.
Oh my god, that's the best. That's exactly what it is. Just Rock Lee in it.
anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to say before you guys head upstairs?
Yeah, I don't know what to
Inform-
do with these weapons to make them do something. If they do anything.
You have your
Say it's snake.
Right, I do.
I mean, this one just has to say a word.
This one.
That's one.
Fuckface only has to say a
Oh.
word.
Oh, that's Sylvanus.
Alright, I
I'm
don't
just
know
gonna
if there's
start
anything
walking.
like fancy to activate with it.
Nope, you just kind of use them as you would any other
Like
spell.
I said what I said.
No.
Thought maybe she forgot.
How would I figure that out?
What do you mean?
That it has spells.
So it can cast
No, but how would Arwynn figure that out?
these two. You would just know.
Oh.
This ritual identified the item for you.
Oh,
So you know
right.
everything it does.
I forgot what the ritual was. I was just in it for the ride.
I mean, that's practically what it was.
Doing it for
What?
the
I mean, that's practically how some of us got you to do it. It's like, hey, you want to do this?
Valid. Exactly. I'm down for anything. I can do more magic now.
You do
With
more
these
magic.
things.
Do they have a name? I just have a name.
Say,
I
Luna,
assume.
Yeah.
Luna, it's just what kind of magic?
Witch spells. Witchcrafty magic.
Okay.
Okay. Like
Like warlock
Not even a thing in this
spells?
I mean, probably.
Is that what you mean by
Let's do it.
witchcraft? Arwynn?
Go in.
Do you mean warlock spells? Is that what you mean by witchcraft?
It says witchcraft.
Okay.
Witchcraft is witchcraft and not warlock, right?
it is just plain witchcraft. Those
Right,
are custom,
it's just witchcraft.
custom homebrew spells.
I wouldn't know that, so
Yeah, I know. Are you gonna show us?
You don't have to.
I
Sure.
press myself flat against the wall.
Oh yeah, the names. I would tell them the names.
which is.
What?
You were there for that part.
Oh, yeah, you were there for that, but
I didn't know if there was more. Like I know.
no,
Mine has 2 names.
the dagger's name is Calamity, and the rapier's name is Cataclysm.
And that's just names, nothing else.
As far as I know.
Interesting.
What names do you have for yours?
Well, there's I'm gonna put your name Ocho the same, and as well as a number. Mine's is 28.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking if there's more information you know about them.
This sounds like Sim creating music.
Shut up.
So harsh.
There isn't. Beach dubs. That was just like a special notation on Sill's thing that he's reading too much into. What?
Your little lizard thing.
She does it like 20 times per session.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do
And a
the
lizard.
spell that won't hurt anything.
Lizard.
A lizard bit.
I thought you were like having a lisp for a second. Like trying to say lizard bitch,
lisp.
but you're like a lizard.
All I've
I
heard
broke
was your
her.
lizard thing.
Alright, what are you gonna try to do?
I'm gonna attempt Glyph of Mobility. He's got no idea how to do it.
Alright, so where do you want to cast it?
I'll tell everybody to like back away. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. You're gonna want to like take cover
I
somewhere.
stand directly
don't worry.
behind you because I feel like
No.
that's the
That's
safest.
probably the
That's
best
the
place.
safest
Oh, I
place.
like your highlighter.
Thank you.
Sorry. Sorry.
Just me.
Arwynn defending it. I like your highlighter.
By the way, yeah.
Just me and Maddie share the same brain cell. That's it.
Yeah, we already know.
Anyhow, sorry. I guess like in the middle of the room. I don't know what to do or how to do it. I know that it'll do something, but I guess I'll
So
take.
as you cast the spell, you kind of use the there seems to be some kind of gem inlaid in the handle of the dagger, and you kind of like summon some energy in that, and it glows before you kind of thrust it towards the center of the room, about 5 feet in the air, 5 feet off of the ground. That is, in a 5 foot by 5 foot radius, is now just like some sort of Sylvanic, as in like language.
Don't
as,
you look at me!
as in
Sylvan is
as in
here.
as in from the language of Sylvan, as in opposed to draconic or abyssal, some kind of Sylvanic glyph that is just now floating, kind of incorporeal, of like a bluish whitish color, kind of the same color as the mist, just like faintly glowing there, kind of just sitting in the open space, and just kind of like sitting there. A couple parts of it are kind of spinning
Somebody
slowly.
step into it.
Hey guys, you ready to do something really cool?
Of course.
I'll take a running leap onto it.
Alright, so R1 runs, jumps up, and as the right foot made contact with it, the glyph suddenly shimmers, and all of a sudden there is this gray, light blue, dark blue, white, kind of like 5 foot by 5 foot sheet of translucent paned, like,
Stained glass?
stained glass that Arwynn is now standing on, where the glyph was.
Ooh, that's
And
helpful.
Arwynn is standing on top of it 5 feet above, like 5 feet off of the ground.
I made a floating platform.
Interesting.
Can you like and move it through the air?
I don't think so.
Try.
Try.
It
Well,
wouldn't be.
listen, if we ever have to run off of like a cliff or something, he casts it, we get on, and
You
we
know what?
make a getaway.
I will lay on my stomach and attempt to swim, just to humor Fendian.
You
Doesn't
lay
do
you lay on
anything.
your stomach and you attempt to swim, but you're laying on your stomach and it's still there.
Well, I tried. Now I
I'm gonna try
look
to
like an
push it.
idiot. Was that the goal?
It's been there for
I
about
might too.
it's been there for about what?
I'm trying to move it. I'm trying to push it.
Your hands go right through it.
You
Can
fall forward.
Can they make more than one?
I don't know.
Like make stairs.
Huh?
Ooh.
Like make stairs.
This has been active for about 45 seconds, by the way.
45 seconds. This doesn't have it. Okay, I got you. Great. I'll try to cast one right in front of me. but
Cast
I'll
one right in
stand
front of
up
you.
First.
Yep.
Oh,
You stand up and cast one right in front of you, and there's now another glyph right in front of you.
awesome. I'll leap onto it.
As soon as Arwynn leaps off of it, the old one, as soon as like contact breaks, just kind of like breaks apart, and as it drifts up into the air, just into nothingness. And as soon as it makes contact with the next one, just lands on it.
Well,
I
this
know
is
what I'm thinking.
definitely a you thing.
Is there anything up that I can get to?
What?
Is there anything up that I can get to?
Not really. The ceilings are about 40 feet high, but there's nothing else. Also, keep track of your charges on this weapon and how much charges these use.
That's true. Okay.
Only something we know.
Then I have one
That's
charge
one of the
left
inspirations
because I'm
for
an
it.
idiot.
So yeah. What?
Is Luna Ruby?
What? No. With fists like that?
True.
And also being blonde.
Lots of characters are blonde.
I'm not
That's true.
understanding any references.
Oh, crow.
Well, what's the other thing that it can do?
What? Are you guys okay?
Yep.
Their brain cells, like, they have two brain cells that are rubbing together, but it rubbed too fast. It makes...
Yeah, I'm
Makes
starting
that
to
happen.
think we should have separated those two.
It would only be worse.
I'm done.
Are you?
Well, if there's nothing else to do here, no offense, Arwynn, I think it's time we get going. We do have other things that we have to do.
You don't want to worship my ancestors for the next 2 hours? What an
No.
asshole.
I can do it for the next 5 minutes.
You just hear Kai from across the room.
Head, go kneel in front of the mouse.
Okay, sure. I'll just
You too.
I'll respectfully pray to the mouse. Dear Twilight Mouse, thank you for allowing us to look at the pretty grove place, but not touch.
If you're standing in the grove, wouldn't you be touching it?
No, Sylvanus, this is sort of my prayer right now. Last time I checked.
Roasted.
We'll make sure to keep Arwynn safe because he's your mousy child. Arwynn, his eyes are still closed. And he's like, is that your mother?
I'm pretty sure
Oh, so it
it's
is your child.
everyone's mother.
Ooh. So we'll keep Arwynn safe, and we'll try not to die when we go to the facetious valley. Amen.
That
And
too.
then-
What?
It's fine. I don't.
I'll
This is why I don't name things.
I'll just push myself off the wall and be like, "Welp," and then just walk up the stairs.
I'm just gonna be like, I don't pray, but thanks for not smiting us. And then I just walk away.
Good as a prayer as any. Isn't that really what all prayers boil down to? It's just a long-winded thanks for not killing me.
Thanks for not killing me. Give me what I want. Okay, bye.
Oh, Bendian laughs, and then he goes back upstairs.
Why does he have a villain's woman?
Laughs,
It's funny.
laughs and Shar. Which reminds me, you hear after you're done, you hear a familiar voice in your head just go, "Nice prayer."
I've prayed to you before.
That's it.
Oh, I'm just gonna see if I can still cast Mage Hand.
Yeah.
A low 3
You
villager.
just hear Bendy go, "Hell, the water's not boiling yet." You don't know why he just casted Mage Hand randomly and said that, but he goes back upstairs.
Everybody else heading back upstairs?
Yep.
Right,
I
so,
guess
Slowly.
Grandpa's leading the way.
yes. You get upstairs. You all...
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was just thinking that I have an artifact. I was like, it's Shar's artifact.
Thanks. I hate that so much.
I
Go home.
Oh,
Devin somewhere is like, Blarmer.
Blarmer?
Yeah, it was a whole thing when we came across black armor and
Blarmer!
She was like,
I was like, Paul Blarmer.
I want to punch
That was a
you.
funny joke. Oh, my knees hurt.
I haven't heard a Paul Blart Mall Cop joke in so long. Oh, you just brought me flashbacks to like middle school. When did that movie come out?
I don't know.
It's fine. Alright, the music
Oh,
died for a hot
blah,
second
blah.
because things are terrible.
Can you breathe?
So much.
So, you get back upstairs. I met with the remainder of your party who is sitting up there, some looking extremely bored. Kat is just finishing up on the identification of the items that you left her in care of. Some people are still bandaging up some wounds, kind of like looking around, poking down at some stuff. Some people have like kind of set some stuff down and kind of like gotten out some supplies instead of like the beginnings of a camp here. first person to see you is it's probably Aqua. She just kind of like waves to you and kind of comes over to your party. Did you guys find anything in particular? Oh,
We found Arwynn.
Yeah.
kind of like
I
looks at
found
the weapons on
myself.
your side. Is that what he was here for?
Most likely. Almost definitely.
Interesting.
Unless he was looking for more rocks. In which case,
Right. As all of you exit, the four lanterns all go back on, and as they do, Aqua kind of looks at that, and then kind of like looks at Knight and is just like, "What did you guys see down there?" And Knight is just like, "I'll tell you later. It was
Boring.
a lot." And Aqua's just
That's
like,
actually pretty
"Right.
interesting.
So I think Kat's done with the stuff that you gave to her. And I know that you all are headed northward towards something for you, I believe. Yeah. So, if you want, I know it's going to be a couple days journey for you there and then a couple days back. I've actually already sent a message to the academy not to expect us back for about a week. Because with you guys out of there, I'd like to maybe do some research and studying here, as it appears kind of significant. So yeah, if it is alright with you guys, we're going to kind of commandeer the force that you hired for this mission specifically, just as a general protection while we are here.
I mean, that's fine.
Say it also means you guys can travel a little bit quicker
Just
and
5
fewer
of us?
number up north, but
6. We have little unnamed, and I have patent dragon.
but we will be here when you get back, since this is on your way back, and then we can travel back to Baldur's Gate together, if that sounds agreeable to you. Gives us about a week to research.
Sounds good to me. Provided we get back in a week and nothing slows us down.
Yes,
Don't
well,
say that.
I will hope that
Oh, I hope nothing speeds us up.
I hope that everything goes smoothly. But yes. It just kind of goes off and begins helping set up some of the camp supplies here. What would you like to do?
Forgot what the 2 items were.
Are you talking to Kat now?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you have the wand here.
Purple.
Interesting.
And then the stone, which seems like it's, be careful who you give this to, and, I'd say for emergencies only.
Well, he's doing that. I go around and give everyone 5 gold and say the fuckface left gold behind. Here's your share.
Everyone is just generally like, thank you.
yeah.
So everyone's 5 gold richer.
Me, the player, knowing it was 200 gold.
Kai,
That's
you
out of
know,
Kai
character.
doesn't know that.
I know, that's why I said me, the player.
Interesting.
Hey, 5 gold is better than no gold.
Yeah.
Well, is everybody good to get started traveling now, or should we?
Sure.
I mean, it is only like late afternoon at this point, like 3 or 4.
Yes.
Figured shouldn't dally. At least get a few hours of traveling in before we need to rest up for the night.
Sharing those with the class, or holding on to both of them?
I mean, we're all gonna wonder. I'm assuming at some point we're all gonna be like, "Hey, so what do those things do that we asked Kat to look at?"
Magic detection wand and a dispelling stone.
Oh, those are both helpful.
Spells.
Like
Mhm.
dispelling magic.
Yes, 1 use.
We better hold on to that for as long as possible.
And never use it ever, because there's always going to be a situation where we'll need it more.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, magic detection wand and
On the brink of
dispelling
death, we
stone.
might need this later.
So we can detect the magic that we want to dispel.
The wand at least recharges at dawn.
If anything, we could sell it.
Who would you sell it to?
Zenim. I'm sure they give a fair price. Perhaps we could do a trade too.
I was going to say, Kat is just walking by and just goes, that reminds me, wanted to detect magic around this place. And she'll kind of like bring out her instruments again and like kind of go over to speak to Aquanite for a second about what she's going to do, and then starts working on that as a ritual.
Well, goodbye. I'm going to get on my horse and get out of here.
Do you know the detect magic spell?
Once a day. Free. My armor does it.
Oh, right.
No, I have identify.
Isn't it like afternoon, late afternoon time?
Actually, no, you guys came in here first thing in the morning. That was kind of like the goals. It's probably...
I came here at 12.
No.
So just say I don't do
Oh,
anything
okay.
else.
It might be like... maybe a little bit after noon.
Oh, we got all day. We got all day to travel.
I
I'll
trust
have
you.
lunch and
You
what
can
you're
have it.
giving it to
I
me.
got a gift.
I'm just gonna be like, are you sure about that?
Yes.
Which
I just
one did you
imagine
get?
like in conversation you just hand it to her, she's like.
Anybody else doing anything before you leave?
Out of it, looking at it logically, out of everyone here, the person that could probably throw it the farthest in case it's a distant one is going to be you.
Throw it the farthest. All right.
Wait, let's have a throwing contest.
All right. Let me see.
It's just fucking wasted.
We understand what I mean.
Yay! It just hit somebody in the fucking head.
Anything anybody is doing before
If
you
you
guys
explain
leave?
like how the spell works.
Leaving.
No. Yeah, I'm just gonna wash all the
Yeah,
stuff right on
mine's
my
is-
horse.
Or lesser.
Very good one.
Alright. Yes, I'll breathe.
Not here now. Probably have to get back to the library or something.
Me and Fendian are braiding his horse's hair.
Well, like, give him a French braid. Wait, can we roll to see if it actually looks good or not?
Yeah, roll a sleight of hand check with advantage. Sky's giving you advantage.
Oh,
Say
Oh,
Say
braid
as
his
you-
hair.
say as you
20!
Yeah.
looks really nice.
The best fucking
As a-
French braid you've ever
As you leave, Kat is just like, but
Not
kind of goes back to what she's doing.
He can wave. Wave goodbye, Kai.
I'm sorry, where did you say you wanted me to stick this wand?
In the air to cast.
He's not coming with us.
In the what?
In the air to cast.
5 of you, it looks like.
It's just the OG crew.
Luna would come up to you and just be like, do you want me to come along?
But in
Or
seriousness, are
you
you
don't
not
need
going
me.
to say goodbye?
I'll like say bye. I'm not.
We're
just
on the
gonna
way to the village
leave.
finale now, right?
She looks like you're
Yeah.
just leaving.
To the place that was the village that was referenced in your note.
Listen, he's not
Why am
trying
I
to.
shushing?
To your family.
Listen, Pat, he's not trying to wipe her. Like,
Not trying to what?
Oh,
wipe her.
I heard wipe
If
her.
anyone's gonna come along,
you're in the mood.
Doing better?
yeah.
My intestines hurt.
Not shocked.
Before I go towards the door, I would first go to Rax and Autumn and just be like, I don't know if you're going to be bored here, but we're going to a valley, and I think there's a hot spring. It's my
no.
understanding. At some point, like there's water.
Here it
Like some of
comes.
it's poisonous, some of it's warm, is what I've heard.
Some of it's both.
Yeah.
Like soup.
But I know,
Oh,
like,
soup.
well, I don't know about Autumn, but Rax, you kind of strike me as sort of my type, which is books are boring.
I thought they hired
So-
Rax's muscles.
This
so they
is
don't
going
get-
well.
I thought
She's
the whole
just the
place said
beef
that they were
one.
commandeering our help.
He's just like, I heard there was a spring nearby. Hint, hint. Y'all smell like shit.
No, just
No.
like it could be like a fun, somewhat vacation, or you could stay here in
We
this.
just want the hot springs
Justine.
episode.
I was
Admit
about
it.
to say the same thing.
Me as a person, yes. T.
No, I feel that.
It's just like, oh, it's like an old ruins with glyphs and maybe books, and
Treasure.
And
I
money.
can't list any more things that I
One
just
money.
like more than.
Right.
Rax just kind of like looks at you and like she's pretty stoic most of the time, but there's actually like a smirk on her face as you finish your spiel, and she just goes, "Actually, I really like books."
Well, I never really. Well, I know how to read, but I never.
Wow.
That's
Never-
the first step to learning T, and I'm proud of you.
I'm not good at it, so it doesn't interest me. But to each their own. Just wasn't sure if this would be boring for me.
Wow. You know,
It's alright.
the dance. Wow.
She kind of like debates saying something, then doesn't, then debates saying it, then doesn't, and then finally like she walks, like starts to walk away. She's like, "This still might be your type though," and then walks away.
I go over to Gab.
just hear from Kai, like, on the other side of Fenn's horse, just, ha!
I'm like, tea is quite the hot commodity.
Say Autumn the entire time was just like the jingles
Put
of
my
like.
head under the horse's hoof.
She was saying it's Autumn too.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Autumn sees that Rax is staying here and just goes. And goes off to join her. Yeah, she'll go over to Gab.
Oh god, she's gonna say
So,
yes.
I'm just going around making sure if people actually want to stay here or not. To me, it kind of seems like it might be a little boring, and I don't know if you're gonna be bored or yeah.
can see she's like really, really torn.
She's like,
I mean, it probably won't be that boring, and I really should help the twins out after all they've done for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, where you guys are going sounds like super fun, and I would love to. I already said I would stay in.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you want to go. It's, you know, it's what you want to do.
sounds like what T wants to do. I'm like, oh.
Or like who T wants to do.
No, Kai, you're too
It
bad.
amazes me how T drowned in
It's
some
like
of these conversations.
That's not the talker.
Yeah. Which is a shame because Maddie is.
Kind of like forgetting for a second that you speak. That you speak primordial. You essentially like very uncharacteristic from Gab. Hear under her breath the primordial equivalent of "fuck me."
Ooh.
As she like
Ooh.
not like that,
I
like
know.
upset.
It's so funny.
Dude, it's funny. That's you right now. She says it like under her breath, and then it's just like, I should stay, but next quest you go on to a random mysterious location. I'm your girl.
Okay.
Sorry. Just kind of like turns around and walks away, and you can like hear her like kind of muttering under her breath to herself. She walks away, kind of like shaking her head, just like stupid.
She's like, don't worry about it.
Anybody else doing anything before you leave?
No, Kai and Fenn are just like having like girl talk while we're watching like all that unfold. We're like,
She like has a moment of like,
Bonding.
man, maybe I should stay, and then she's like,
Is
no.
the worlding okay after all that weird travel?
Yeah, seems to be fine.
Cool.
You feed it some pocket jerky, and
Hooray.
snaps it up.
Turkey.
Just kind of nuzzles against you like this.
My baby. Everything is fine.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say,
need
so would
anything
probably
else.
comment as he's like scratching top of the dragon's head, like, I've met 2 dragons in the span of a week. I do not know why I'm suddenly around all these dragons, but it's becoming painful.
technically,
The wormling looks up at you and offers the absolute cathartic, responsive.
Oh,
Kind of cocks his head sideways at you.
before Gab gets too far away, T would like catch up to her and like grab her shoulder and turn around and be like, be careful. Those people could be back.
Well, there's lots of people here for protection.
Very good. So.
Plus, if
watching
any-
the shoulder again.
If anybody does get hurt, they're gonna
you.
need me around to make sure they're okay.
Cat.
I'm really good at taking care of people. Almost dropped my d20 on the ground, but I
You gotta
did.
kiss her goodbye.
Yeet.
Good
Your
naturedly.
healing does come in handy.
Blushes. Thanks.
Oh, I'm
See you in a week.
Yep. Turns around awkwardly and walks
Ghost.
away. Yeah.
You just see Kai peek up from over her horse, just like,
She just like furrows her eyebrows in confusion.
Do you say bye to Cat or no?
yeah, I say bye.
Just like, see you in a week. Please don't die.
Try my best.
If he does, we'll package his liver for you.
At least
Well, that's gonna be ruined.
Ah, she's right.
Well, we could save the horns. Save a horn.
Mounted to the wall.
Kinky.
Above the fireplace.
Wow.
Setting character.
That's a huge jump, Bonnie.
It just came to me.
My blood is all red wine now.
Jesus.
Will,
See you in
I'm
a
ready.
week when you get back.
hi everybody. Come, Gooseberry. On
Wait,
an
did you say your
adventure.
blood was all red wine?
Yeah.
Jesus?
That's what I said!
Did you?
Yeah!
I'm sorry.
One
You have a paylord.
one thing you make a perception check as you say bye to Cat though.
Mine's pink and Scotto.
That's weird.
Mine's blood, because I'm not an alcoholic.
Paragon's picking on her.
Alright, Benji, you're not better than us.
Aw.
That's pretty.
I mean,
My Google phone going off in the background.
That's not how D&D works.
wait, what was
Perception check.
Perception.
Did you roll twice?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
What was the first roll?
Add.
What?
Was it?
3.
3.
7.
7.
Or, I mean,
Every-
21.
Everyone is kind of like conglomerated together as you say bye to Kat because you're like the last one out. As she finishes her detect magic spell, she just kind of looks over to the conglomerate of people and kind of like gives like a double take to everybody standing over there, and then just kind of like shakes her head and goes back to everything like normal. But you walk out, and that is that. That's all you get with the 7.
To us?
What?
To us or to everybody else?
Oh my god, do
To
we have
what?
shadow things on us?
No, she looked towards the group that was staying behind at the temple, and just sort of like kind of did a double take and kind of like cocked her head to the side for a second and just went. And then
Oh
just
my
kinda went
god, they're
about
all
her stuff.
covered in shadows.
You're gonna
kill
we
her.
can see.
Nope.
He
Kai
doesn't even
notices
know.
it right at the end, but you know, it's just I don't know. Maybe one of them was holding a magic item that she didn't know was magic. Don't know. All right, so all of you, are you departing now?
Yep.
All right, bringing a single NPC alongside you, making my life so much easier.
Oh, one of me?
No,
No.
Arwynn invited someone.
Oh.
Luna?
Correct.
Look at that.
So, as the 6 of you depart, all with your horses, you head north towards the valley.
I'll take up the back like normal, and I just like kind of always watch out to make sure we're not being followed, or attempt to make sure that we're not being
Your
followed.
horse walks backwards.
I guess I'll take point unless no one else does.
I would stay towards the front and keep an eye like ahead of us.
Side by side.
Sure.
I'll walk behind them.
I'm just like
Well, we're on
switching sides
horses.
of the path.
You can walk,
checking
but we're
things
gonna
out.
ride
What if we
I'm gonna make a still says dumb shit joke. Or, fuck.
I'm
jar, not joke. So, like, every time you say something dumb like that, you have to put a gold in the jar.
And then we all buy ice cream.
So, all of you head off. Who
So,
was
like,
taking
high
point
fives
still?
with friends.
The two of us.
You each make a perception check.
Fucking is hard.
Not well.
I can't read.
Well, I can't read.
Do I make a perception check? Or I'm just kinda
17.
bobbing
10.
Back and forth
No,
between
17 and
everything?
10. Nah, just the 2 in the front, just to keep things simple.
Yeah, my dice are not doing well.
So,
Sorry for this.
you don't notice anything in particular?
That's a bad nose.
I'm sicking.
As you head northward, the hills that you are in begin to kind of steady out into flatlands, and then very quickly in the distance, approaching, you see 2 very large mountain ranges, one on the left and one on the right, and kind of a center gulf, sort of allowing you entrance towards it, the entrance of a valley. It's probably about 5 or 6 o'clock before you get to this. The sun not quite setting, but beginning to get to the point where it's about to drop behind one of the sets of mountains. But daylight's still in the sky. As you get towards the inside of these mountains, where this valley is, topography changes quite heavily. It is flatlands. It's a little wet. The trees here are huge. Each tree trunk's 6, 7, 8, 9 feet thick. Trees 350 feet tall.
So it's, redwoods? Something?
Kind of, yeah.
Cool.
But just a very ancient looking place. There is, you can see mountains extend up into the clouds. They have sort of like, they have like a light mist rolling off towards the bottom where some of the hot springs might be, or where some of just might be mist from the water coming off of them. They're like slate gray, kind of going all the way up before right where they get to where the clouds would cut them off. You can see the beginning of kind of snow-capped peaks, but the clouds prevent you from seeing the top of them, as these mountains are higher than the clouds themselves.
Lord.
You can probably see maybe 2.5 miles up of these mountains before the clouds obscure the view. Yes.
2 questions. One, is it wetlands or like swamplands?
Not swamplands. It's like sort of like wooded plains.
Yeah.
That have like a fair amount of rivers running through
Okay.
them, which is why like the mist coming off of the rivers is why the grass is almost permanently dewy.
So it's like humid.
Yes.
Basically.
Second question.
Yes.
Does the mountaintops look familiar?
Make a history check.
No. No.
What'd you roll?
3 and 4, which is 7.
7?
Yep.
They do not look familiar.
Have I been through this way?
No. These are your... This is a different direction than the mountains that you are used to.
I guess as a we still.
As it say, and this is also like this peninsula that you are traveling to is really the only, unless you are meaning to like, there's like a strait. By strait I mean like a body of water, a strait. That kind of extends for probably a mile and a half. That separates this peninsula from the land that extends further up north. There's another mountain peak there. Fuck. I know what this mountain peak is. Maybe I don't. Idiot. So there is there's a river called the Winding Water that kind of extends into the sea there. And there's about a mile and a half wide strait that you would have to ford. That said, this gets like hundreds of feet deep, so like no one would ever do it. But that's what would get you into. There's a mountain range right there. There is a tomb referred to as Warlock's Crypt. And on the other side of that is the Trollbark Forest. Beyond the Trollbark Forest is the old Dragon Spear Castle. But that would be the only thing that you could hope to get through this valley. So there's very, very little point for anyone to ever travel in here, as the only thing you're getting to is a small village on a peninsula and a strait that you would need like a galleon to cross anyway. And at that point, why not just travel up the coast?
Dragon Spear Castle?
Yes.
Do we know anything about it?
You would know some things about it, yeah. It is simply a a military force that features soldiers from the Burning Hands, Flaming Fist. Sorry, fuck me, so close. Yeah, the Flaming Fist from Baldur's Gate. Also some of the city guard of Silvery Moon, and some hired mercenaries from Waterdeep. And they all collectively kind of occupy this fort. There's a small village built off of the castle, though the only people who live there are people who work in the castle. They're like the people who tend the fields are also like full-time soldiers who just kind of trade off jobs, but is essentially a small military outpost town.
Is it to keep an eye on something or to defend
Yes.
against?
Just to kind of give like a halfway point in between Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep. That is correct, because there is the tradeway that runs from Dragonspear Castle through Daggerford to Waterdeep. That kind of goes past the Misty Forest and past Trollbark Forest. But also Dragonspear Castle sits right on the border of the High Moor, which is a boglands that are known for having a number of monstrosities and even some sighted aberrations wandering it.
Okay.
So it is kind of like one of the last occupied places that border the High Moor. So it's kind of seen as like an outpost, like a halfway point, and also like an outpost, kind of making sure that if anything from the High Moor does come inward, that everyone has a warning about it. But there is really no civilian life in the castle. But yes, your mountains that you're familiar with are in a different direction than this, because these are almost due north directly of Baldur's Gate, where I believe yours are more to the south.
No, it's south. It's all
Yes.
the same.
Is it?
Yes, your mountains are closer to, and you can like tell too that like your mountains don't typically have a lot of snow caps as it's further south. It's a little bit closer to Amen and Kalimshan, which is like the desert region that Ganassi were born from. It's where the kingdoms of like the genies and the jinns used to rule from. Yes.
I was gonna say, so as we, ride and the sun is starting to set a little bit, I'll just call out ahead to Syl and T and say, so shall we set up camp for the night or what? Because my ass hurts and I'm starving.
How far are we from the village? Like, is it a couple days journey of?
Said it looked like about a 3-day journey. You unfortunately don't have a map yet. Might want to inquire about that when you get back to Baldur's Gate, but it looked to be about a 3 days journey.
I have a map of Waterdeep, but that won't help here.
I have a map of Baldur's Gate.
Also will not help here tragically.
Um,
But, it looked maybe like a little bit less than 3. It looks like it might take 2 full days or maybe like a day and a day and 3 quarters to get to the village from where you are now. Depending on what pace you ride at, of course. Right now you're riding at like I ride my horse at a medium pace. Sorry. Yeah, you're
I
riding
would
at
say
like
we should go until like dinner time and then.
It's 6 o'clock.
yeah, it's starting to get towards sunset.
6 o'clock.
You still have maybe like 2 hours of daylight left.
Maybe we could spend a little bit of time just looking
but
for
no,
a
riding-
dry place to set up camp, because you said it's kind of like wetter around here, right?
Yes.
I mean, we can find like a rocky outcropping or something to camp under.
Alright.
I'll try to look for one.
Do you head towards the mountains on your left or the mountains on your right?
Left.
Oh wait. This is why we have these. Heads
Is
is
it?
left and tails is right.
Anybody?
Nice.
Does anybody want?
Heads is the
I was
Kraken.
going left.
So
Right.
yeah, which one? I always forget which
said
one.
right.
Go left.
Sure, we'll go.
You're going left. No one wants to check their notes. All right, going left.
No one wants to check the notes.
Colette did specifically mention which sides of the mountains had poisonous stuff and which sides of the
Oh,
mountain had
no.
not poisonous
When
stuff.
did she say?
I wasn't there.
Said it to those two.
Who two? Us two? Oh.
This could be our hot springs moment, guys.
Whether we live through the hot
This could
springs.
be dipping yourself in molten poison.
It smells familiar. I believe
Shows the
I
direction.
smelled it on
so
some arrows before.
I don't even have my
Could
freaking
they do a
notes.
history
Where are
check
they?
to see if they remember?
I guess it was before
directions in
that.
my
It's
head.
gotta be before that.
You can do whatever your gargantuan heart desires.
Nope.
Favorite one.
I don't freaking know.
Okay, well, you go left.
Can we do a nature check?
I feel like right is the right.
Well, no.
All she
could
tells
they-
us
could they do,
directions,
like a
so-
history check to see if they remember.
I don't even remember you saying that though.
Because like for us,
I
it's been
remember
I don't
her
I
know.
saying
remember
that
hearing
direction.
poison.
for us,
I
it's been
remember-
like a solid month. For them, it's been like 48 hours.
Yeah, make a history check.
It seems
Both of
right
you.
is the not poisonous one.
Said
So why?
DC 15. So roll
That's
good.
like an 18.
Wait, I have
Yeah.
these now.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you got your metal boys.
I've never used this one before.
Do it.
Roll
Here
it.
we go.
Wow, those are some keepers. Yeah, left is the right way.
I'm guessing.
Dope.
that
Oh
they-
shit!
they-
Me and Honey almost killed the party.
all she told me was northwest is the mountain, so I wrote that down.
Okay, so you guys head left.
What? Is
No, you were able to find like a rocky outcropping. We were able to set up on some dry ground. No hot springs, unfortunately, though there is like a fresh, clean, freshwater river kind of running down from the mountain. That's about 25 feet wide at this point, maybe 8 or 9 feet deep in the center. So
Is it
deep enough to
possible-
bathe or get some drinking water.
Is it possible to find some like dry kindling to keep in the immediate area since we're kind of in a
Yeah.
dry spot? I'll gather some dry kindling in case like when we get further in we have to like set up camp if like everything's wet and we can't burn
I
it.
pull random sticks out of my pocket and papers and just throw them into.
Thank you.
You get a fire going.
And I tie the like spare stuff up like on my horse's
I'd say
saddlebags.
it's once again a pretty decent meal that's prepared for you because Luna is proficient with actually I'll roll for it, but Luna is proficient with cook's utensils. It's a 19. Yeah, it's a pretty good meal. Now with nothing to hunt here in the immediate vicinity, it's a little bit more vegetarian than the last meal, but still spiced and seasoned very nicely. Luna clearly knows what she's doing when it comes to cooking.
Ralph, I thank her for making this.
Same.
And I'll volunteer to keep first watch.
I mean, like right after dinner, Teach just gonna be like, I'm gonna go bathe in the river, and like just wanders off until watch.
All right, who wants first watch?
I guess I'll take.
To kind of,
first.
for expediency's sake, I'm just going to do like one. We're going to roll for one watch a night, and that's going to be it. So whoever wants to take first watch first night is going to do that, and then we'll just move on to the next day. So first watch. Well, who wants first watch with Fen? So, all right, each of you make a perception check.
It's a 14.
What is that?
Uh-oh, it's getting this.
Still has a fancy sleeping mask on the whole time. You do the work.
It's really dark.
I got 14.
Is there any conversation that you wanted to have about during this time or no?
Unless Fem wants to talk on anything particularly.
How's it going?
Tiring.
Well, we'll make it through, buddy. And then that's
As it's saying with that, like Fen, you lean back to the watch, kind of like take like a couple minutes to look to your left, kind of come back to your right, and still is just like leaning against a rock, just already fast asleep, and you're just like,
Nobles, am I right?
I'm just like, oh,
What was it to
whatever.
say?
He's sleepy.
There's a brief moment in the middle of your watch that you like swear in your periphery you see like a flash of light. You kind of like look over, but then you don't see anything there, and you kind of listen really closely for a second to any noises, and you don't hear anything. You kind of like make sure you kind of like look to see if there's anything, keeping an eye on that area for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Nothing. Gonna settle back in. The rest of your watch goes uneventfully.
Maybe it was a lightning bug.
And then.
Suspicious.
All right, so we're just doing one watch a night.
Oh.
All right, so you come to the following morning. Day is yours. What you doing?
I'm just getting ready to get.
Pack up
Riding?
and leave.
I
Rolling
make sure to
around
mention
What
that I
pace?
saw
What?
something in my
Rolling around on the
peripheral.
ground.
What as all of you pack up, Arwynn is like play fighting with the wormling.
That's wholesome.
Oh, I will say, once the session ends, I will send it to you. The wormling did hit level 3, you guys know, so you have some more points to spend. You will hit level 4 once you arrive back in the city of Baldur's Gate.
If we make it back.
Yep.
We just fucking run the rest of the way. Alright. We run back.
So, you guys depart. What pace would you like to travel at? You can travel at like a slow and stealthy pace, a medium pace, or a fast pace that'll...
You said you wanted to mention the light.
Yeah, I mentioned that I only saw it for but a brief moment, and I didn't actually hear or see anything after that. But I'm paranoid. I'm a paranoid man.
We know this.
And I saw... I thought I hit it pretty well. He, like, laughs at himself. I saw a strange flash of light, just very briefly,
Like-
my left...
Like a
peripheral.
type of spell, like, you know, like a...
I don't know. Perhaps it was light glinting off of a creature that has very reflective skin.
Or
I
a
don't know.
lightning bug.
No, but it
Or
was
a torch?
large-ish.
Like,
No,
would you
we
put
don't
it-
have any
Big
torches.
Would you
lightning
put
bug.
it like a crystal ball size?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go off what Fendi
Yeah,
would
that's-
think, and like
yeah.
kind of like I'm imagining like bigger than a cat but smaller than a dog.
Like a
size.
ponytail.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That would be bright.
So, what
and
pace?
large.
But yes,
I would say medium.
yeah,
You
medium
heard that,
sounds
right?
good.
Riding a horse at a medium pace. Sounds good.
So we don't want to be too slow.
Who's up front today?
I wanna go
I'll
front.
stay up front.
Roll. Perception, let's go.
Tea and Kai.
Nat
Wait,
20.
Tea and Kai.
4.
I thought that was a 1.
11. So you get about 2 or 3 hours into your travel. You kind of come across. You kind of have to split to the left a little bit harder now, as running directly down the center of the valley is the main river that lives and runs through this valley. To start off, it's about 55 feet wide. Though as you continue to travel, 60, 65, 70, 75, it's just kind of getting wider as you get closer to the other end of the valley. Another hour or two goes by, and the first thing you notice is flying overhead. You kind of hear like overhead just kind of flies up and lands, spooking your horse a little bit, but kind of lands on the back of your horse and just kind of like puts its head into your back, and you just hear meow,
Oh no, she's worried. Ask her what's wrong.
Can I help you?
You just see the image of through your head, like you blink and all of a sudden like the images that you see in your head are not your own, even though your eyes are closed. You can see very vividly mountaintops, blue sky, really big wings.
Oh no.
I immediately stop my horse and I'm just like, here.
Kind of like looks up towards the sky. As you look up, you can see circling around is just a faint glimmer of gold. It kind of descends a little bit
Everyone head towards the mountainside.
before it heads towards the mountains.
Don't head towards the mountainside.
What is it?
Kind of. You finally start to hear just the faint flapping of wings.
We should try to
As
slow our
it kind
pace
of
down.
as you notice it heading
forgot.
towards a cave that is probably about 3/4 of a mile up
I didn't.
in the mountainside. As it lands there, judging like, all right, 3/4 of a mile up, things are going to look smaller as it kind of extends its wings out. Its wingspan is probably
40 to 50.
maybe like 130, 140 feet wide. Looks to be an ancient gold dragon of sorts. It
my
appears to be
dragon.
absolutely huge.
Those the bad ones.
I look at everyone
I think
and
so.
in the
No.
eyes,
Pretty chill.
I just go like, and I like, for extra long at Fen.
The dread, I was going to say the wormling is kind of in awe as it's looking up at it, and it kind of is like purring into you now. It's just like,
I'm just like, on its head.
Sounds like now that's 3 dragons.
kind of like nuzzles into you a little bit.
So, sighing. That's 3 dragons. Pat excitedly in his head. That's 3 dragons.
Somewhere in the world, soul orgasms.
Oh, dragons.
There be dragons.
Here be dragons.
I'm just gonna, like, before we start, I'm gonna look at the wormling again and be like, if you see any more, tell me.
I heard your Maddie coming out at the beginning.
No, like, she, like, legitimately talks nicely to it.
Do our horses have blinders or no?
What?
We should put some blinders on our horses.
I was about to say, you get a
blindfold them.
you get like another flash through your head. This one is just light blue. It just goes.
This.
Yeah, it sucks being on this side of this shit, doesn't it?
Can you stealth on a horse?
You can, but you have to slow.
Put socks on it.
You have to reduce your pace to slow.
Mhm.
So it might take an extra day of travel.
I would say we should just do that for, like,
Yeah.
the next mile and then go back to medium speed.
Sounds good. Roll the everybody roll me a stealth check. Roll for Luna.
That's so heavy.
Oh.
22.
I'm at 20.
Wow. I haven't rolled yet. Hold on.
Okay.
All the times rolling at 20.
I thought that was a 0, and I was like, wait, that doesn't
But it
make
was a
sense.
2. Stealth. 12.
Kind of, the gold dragon seems to lay down, kind of props its head up all over the side of its almost half hanging off the side of the ledge that it's laying on. You swear as you go by, its head just kind of like turns slowly in your direction. As you get about half a mile away, it just kind of breathes out just like a puff, a ring of smoke. So it kind of like turns back around and looks towards the entrance of the valley again.
And it looks like that the whole time.
That's it.
It's like when a bored dog is laying there and does
Yep.
little dog sigh.
Yeah, pretty much. So you continue traveling. Nothing else eventful for the rest of the day, though. By the time you go to make camp, the river in the center here is about 135 feet wide.
Wide.
It is
Log.
saltwater. You have to go towards the left to find more fresh water. So I'm assuming you guys just go to the left again, find another dry place to bed up.
Yeah.
Still not too hard. It's a little bit more moist here, but still not bad.
Any hot springs?
Fortunately, not yet now.
Your hot springs are in another castle, princess.
All right, who wants first watch tonight?
I'll push Sil out of the way and just be like, you had it last night.
No, we didn't. Fendi.
Well, I was about to say, you just hear like a choke, like.
Okay, but what if
From
Phil
Luna.
dreamed that he was doing the watch and he was like, what do you mean?
So, Arwynn and T.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Interesting grades.
21 this time. Neil's once again very good. Do I have nighttime music?
Oh, I'm like,
Oh, baby. Alright, so, both of you make perception checks.
Oh,
shit.
ah! What was already?
15.
5.
I want to also mention Fendi never
That's
uses
a
his
heavy
trance
dice.
only ever
Did it
sleeps.
make a mark? I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
I think so.
Fendi
I'm
never
sorry, I
uses
won't
his
use
elf trance. He always sleeps.
What did you roll?
That's like
I rolled a
Yeah.
2. I got
Like,
a 5.
The difference between that and my dragon die is like huge.
15. Yeah, 15.
15?
Because they have to be balanced differently since they're metal. I don't know. I don't know how stuff works.
Lucky ducks.
I don't
Well,
think
Nothing,
solid
nothing
metal,
of note
so-
happens. Is there any conversation that you would like to happen over the course of the night?
You sleeping under a rock again? Like,
under a rock. Like,
I can't afford to die.
your cats are gonna die?
I can't afford to die.
I can't afford a lot of things. Dying is not one of them.
It's free.
Sleeping
Exactly.
in a protective stance is a better shot of making it to morning than just out in the open like some people.
I'm afraid of
No,
everything.
Finn sleeps under his bed even when we're at home.
oh my god, it's not my problem anymore.
Sorry, look at
So if it's gonna be uneventful, do you want to play a game?
Sure.
Do you want to play a quick game of the dice thing or not?
Yeah, go for it. I'll allow one round.
Okay.
So it's your typical,
Hydro
it.
dice.
Right.
what
Yeah.
does it say? Are you playing the first game that you still had?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So that is 2d6. Whoever gets the highest wins.
I love this game.
Just make sure the other person can't see it. Anybody trying to cheat?
Yeah, fuck it.
I'll cheat.
Alright. Both
Imagine
of you,
you should
both of
have
you make a
stuff
sleight
like
of hand
that.
check.
One of
I'm gonna use
the
my
dice
really
is
big
pretty
one.
easy to read.
That's
Okay.
not bad at all.
That's an 18.
20?
Alright, that beats both your passive perceptions. For roll whatever dice you'd like to.
Lower.
I rolled the same thing.
Alright. What do you have?
9.
6.
Arwynn wins.
We didn't wager anything. Crap.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
It's just losing and winning. The
She would
purest
cost a
form.
gold your way regardless.
Works for me.
When you go back to Baldur's Gate, I have another fun game for you to learn and play.
Called
Yay!
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's called.
It's
oh, I
called
was going to
Shut
say,
Up.
what do they fucking call it? The Dungeons and Dragons world has a has like a version of D&D, but it's just for like regular people. It's like
oh my god.
Of course, we have to play
Fucking
Drunken Have I Never.
Taxes and work.
yeah, it's
Okay,
it's like
fair.
it's like fucking like
Next ball night.
Taxes and wages.
no, it's like
Next Wednesday.
it's like households and humans. And
I was
it's
about to say.
and it's just like Broderick the dwarf. Like, what character are you playing again? And it's just like this elf is just like, oh, I'm a level 6 Caucasian attorney. And he's just like, can you roll for taxes? And he's like, now one. And it's just like, yeah, the IRS is not going to be happy with that.
I'm an elven actuary.
Silence.
Is that a joke I didn't get?
No, I was just staring at you.
Oh, was I the only one not getting
It was
it?
just funny with the music playing.
All right, so come to the third day. Everyone packs up and continues on their journey.
Oh, wait, not
I
to
want to be
annoying.
in front this time.
But can I also like on the way like idly like search for like different flowers and stuff that I could like keep to make perfume with later?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Ooh.
Make a nature check.
You find a very strange mushroom.
And it's for nature. 19.
19.
Throw it hard. It rolls
Yeah,
better.
you find
Oh,
find
test
3 or 4
rolls.
different varieties of flowers that smell nice, good, Just not like anything that you've ever used before. You're excited to see what they can do as far as perfumes go.
Nightshade.
And I go up to T. Are any of these rose lilies?
Any of them rose lilies?
No.
All right, we'll keep trying. And then I tuck them away into my satchel. That's it.
I want to be in front this time.
Arwynn is in front. Who is in front with Arwynn?
Keep staying in front. It
I-
works out well enough.
All right, it's you and Luna then.
Okay.
Oh, Arwynn said it first. You're getting a break today.
Okay.
You can stay in the back with Penguin. Every 5 seconds he's
Absolutely not.
Not good
Bye.
either.
It's an 8. It's a 5 and an 8.
You did offer.
That's cocked. That's not. You guys don't notice anything in particular. So, journey continues.
Yes.
Probably about sun directly overhead. The river's gotten to its widest point. It doesn't appear to be getting any wider at this point. It's about 250 feet wide at this point. Couple more hours go by. Starts getting a little marshier. A few more hours go by. The marshiness kind of stops as like the bank gets a little bit higher, and a little bit higher to the point where like now the river's maybe like 3 or 4 feet below you where you're walking. And come about evening time, there's like a faint sound that you start to hear off in the distance. It's like a low kind of like.
All I see is a facial expression. There's no noise.
It's like.
Okay, I got you.
Sorry, that was really funny.
So,
I appreciated that.
Arwynn, because we do not know the person we are going to be meeting, can you tell us any details to keep an eye out on?
I haven't seen these people in over 10 years.
I see.
You're looking for...
Do you know what you're going to say to them if it is the people that you think it might be?
No.
Fair enough.
Could be worse.
So are they like related to you
Yes.
physically in appearance? Or
Hopefully.
legally?
What?
Like not by blood but just by law. Are we looking for other Ferox is what I'm trying to politely ask. Okay, great.
You're looking for the minima. Just somebody that looks like a
Mouse.
mouse.
Alright, great. That narrows it down quite a bit. If we just see like a dwarf or something, don't need to talk to him.
Or an elf wearing fake mouse ears.
Mickey Mouse?
Yes.
Oh, well, I suppose we would know because they would have the elf ears and the mouse ears.
Are
It's
they
fine,
like
we'll keep a lookout.
a cousin or something?
No. Long story, but maybe my little sister and maybe some other people, or at least maybe she knows where they are.
What do you mean by other people?
If she knows where they are, I'll explain.
I thought I heard you say something about having brothers or something earlier. How many siblings do you have?
Just 3.
She has 2 older brothers that I knew and used to acquaint myself with. It is why I know Arwynn.
Did you leave on friendly terms or not exactly? Just so we know sort of what type of energy to expect.
Someone trumped up some charges against them because they didn't like Ferox, and her brothers were taken away.
Oh, that's sad.
As for what else happened, that's your story to tell if you want to.
Shit got a little fucky and I ran away. But my sister didn't get out. So I don't really know what happened after I left.
I know that feeling.
Right. South.
We really need
Waterdeep.
to work on a story for you one of these days. Arwynn, once you are reunited with what we hope is your sister, should we stay some distance away just to give you 2 space?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, it just seems like the appropriate answer.
Are you sure they want to see you for good reasons?
I don't know. I found a note summoning me here, stuck to my door with a knife.
Maybe they didn't have
Do
a
you
hammer
think
and
they'll
a
have
nail.
another knife ready for you?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's why we're all here.
Is dagger collecting in the family?
Hmm?
Is dagger collecting in the family?
Something like that.
Well,
It's gonna be a
we
long
can
day.
speculate all we want. The best ways to go and find out.
Question. When Arwynn tested the blades, the magic of the blades specifically, everyone kind of gathered behind Arwynn so as not to be in the blasting radius, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
So nobody saw from the side.
I have absolutely no more words to say on that topic.
Can I roll for insight on Liz?
Yeah,
Oh no,
do it.
she's pretty loose with information, so you should
Alright,
have
that's
advantage.
a 7. Oh, thank God. Where's I for insight? That's gonna be a 9.
Oh.
It's a 22 for deception, so
Okay.
you don't know, I'm kind of hard to read.
Foiled again.
I wouldn't say that.
Did I notice anything when I cast it?
No, respectfully. Suck a dick. So,
The music in the background.
yeah, right? As you, the sound gets louder and louder. After another 30 minutes of travel, it's to the point now where it's very audible. It's like,
Yeah.
about another half hour of travel, and you can finally see through the trees, kind of like a clearing. The last about half mile, as night is falling, is open.
No more than that too.
Like, forward and to your left, you can kind of see a break in the curvature of the mountains, probably about three-quarters of a mile wide, that leads to the peninsula. The river kind of runs diagonally forward and to the right, and goes up about maybe 600 feet to a waterfall. So it kind of cascades off the side of the mountain down into a steaming hot pool of salt water.
We about to have good skin. Salt water is good for
And
your
hair
skin.
is really
Is
hard
it?
to brush.
It
Oh,
is
fucking
just about
love.
nightfall, so you can continue traveling if you would like to, but it is nightfall, is all I will say.
We should make camp once more.
What do you think we should do, T?
She's just like, Maddie's like, someone fucking say, they
I
can't say.
literally just said it.
Kai sees the hot springs, like, we're stopping here, and like, it's like getting off his horse, like, before it, like,
Oh my.
completely stops.
Oh my, I'll like grab his horse's reins so his horse like stops fucking walking.
I imagine, like, as he's coming off his horse, he's, like, peeling off, like, his cloak.
Let's say Luna just looks around.
He's a shark.
Is everyone okay with like vegetables and stuff again?
Oh,
Or-
that's fine. Food is food at this point.
Shirt flying, like, yes!
It's better than crackers and jerky.
You love it.
All the times to roll that natural 20. She out fucking does herself tonight.
I'll
God.
set up my cooking stuff just like so we have an extra pot to like boil salt
Yeah.
water to make it clean. And
She makes like a very nice stew. Has like very like rich beefy flavors, despite the fact that she's working with like a lot of root vegetables.
Hey, she
all
made it
about them
work.
maybe she has bouillon cubes.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
boy, it's not like a
It's not a new technology.
Yeah, I was about to say
That
no.
sounds
She,
like
no,
an
she went to
Sanctuary.
I was about to say
Yeah,
yeah.
like-
She stopped at Yield Stop and Shop.
Stop and shop.
At Yield Food Lion.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Food lion.
Fucking
Gonna be a
Virginia, I
long
think.
night.
We used to go there whenever
And,
we went to fucking
Florida.
Richmond. Yeah.
I've never left the state except for like Jersey.
All
Jersey's-
right. So,
Jersey's
I was about
amazing.
to say Stop and Shop is like a north thing. Like we hit Stop and Shop up like on our fucking trips up in Boston.
Yeah, I don't leave like a 5-mile radius of whatever home I live in, so.
Regardless, you have a good time at the hot springs. Don't worry, there will be more times to do this later. We'll RP out extensively what happens.
Tendian doesn't go. We'll just stay at the
Dinner
camp.
is good. Who's taking watch? Fen or Syl and T.
Haven't been called out yet.
Make a perception check. Cocked. I'm rolling ass on this tonight. What'd you roll?
So is Sylvanus.
Another one.
Natural one?
Unnatural 20.
He's so sleepy.
Oh,
He's feeling very sleepy.
It's just really, that's the third one tonight.
Try this.
T, any
You
conversation
were
you would like
nice.
to have?
It's definitely me.
It's a 9.
T at one point will be like, you said you trusted me. Are you sure about that?
Seriously.
Sugar boy.
Kind of come to.
What?
You said you trusted me. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Fucking rips your
I'm-
scalp off.
Wrong
Wrong answer.
I mean, maybe like I'm not going to do anything to you, but maybe like don't be so trusting of the people. A lot of people out here are not the kind to be trusted.
So you just said you're not the type to do that, and so that means you can be trusted.
I know what you are, but what am I? Trusted.
In all seriousness, I'll do whatever it takes to find Gruff,
I understand that.
and that might not put others around me in the best position.
I come from a place where backstabbing is the way to say hello and goodbye. Whatever you can do to find Gruff is child's play to that. You wouldn't be able to hurt me in a way that I'm familiar with at home.
He just kind of has that look of like, but doesn't. She just kind of sighs and she's like, if that's the opinion you're going to hold yourself to.
Is it really that troublesome to have someone trust you?
Not used to it. There's maybe 2.5 people that I would say trust me. Well, I guess 3.5 now. Most people take one look at me and write me off because of my race.
2 of the 3 people I trust most are considered the less desired races. One is a Ferox, the other is a Tiefling, and the third person I trust is, like me, half-blood. Muddled blood, dirty blood, whatever you like to call it.
Mudblood.
I think sure I knew all 3 people, and I do.
Okay. So, the race part doesn't bother me. Actually, I think I would be much more bothered if you're a pure-blooded human.
I don't think I've said one nice thing my entire life to a human.
I think I'm in the same boat as you. But regardless, it's...
Neither of you have said anything nice to Kat?
She hasn't really talked.
I mean,
Saying thank you and giving gold is nice.
no, that's
I've
just
never
a
given her gold advice.
characteristic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just a characteristic.
The 2 conversations I've had with her were me trying to press her on Phineas and
Finn?
Finn.
Oh.
and we're kind of dating, but we're kind of not dating.
But maybe we can.
Yes.
Okay. But look at the whole week we just had, past 7 days. We've saw a dragon, an ancient dragon in the air. We have one traveling with us. We've ran into the Black Thorn, the guild, a person that is very insistent about having us join him. May I add? Not to mention the stuff with the Grand Duke, who wants us to work exclusively for him, and the other 2 dukes that want us to work with them. It's easier to trust someone that you have fought with a few battles with and is in the same boat. Why argue about who's holding what oar and which way to go when you can both go the same direction? You'll find shore eventually.
I suppose. Just there's maybe one person in my life that I've met that trusted people so willy-nilly and freely like that, it's a bit jarring, if I'm being honest.
Is it something I have to earn a bit that you'll be okay with me trusting you? Like, I'm a bit confused.
Do what you must. I'm more so saying I'm perhaps concerned for your safety.
I think she likes you.
Putting a trust in someone too quickly can burn you.
Indeed, that could be the case, but at least now that if you ever were to do something like that, I know about it beforehand. But I don't see you as the type of person to suddenly, you know,
Thanks, I hate it.
you can still leave.
Sorry, my finger slipped.
It's like, see, when the music's stuff, and I look over, and Liz is like,
I'm gonna get back to the still mindset. Lost my train of thought. You don't seem like the type of person, even though you say you might, to suddenly just stab people in the back. I mean, I expect that more from Kai, Fen, Arwynn, even.
I would do it for those that I hold in high regards, and the other people I trust, I hold nothing more in high regards. I hold them in higher regards than I hold myself.
And you think if you were to betray someone to help them, save them, find them, they'd be okay with that knowledge?
No, but I'm not the type that's liked. I'm the type that gets things done. That's why I'm here, and why I was the one that was sent to find Gruff.
If I may ask about that, what is Gruff to you and your other companions?
That's a bit complicated.
We got a watchful of time.
The only thing that matters is I think I'm on a quest to find a body.
You don't think he's gonna be alive?
Honestly, if he's not,
You're gonna kill him?
possibly. Of how long he's been gone. The person that I care about most is the one that asked me to find him.
And what is Gruff to them?
this story is locked.
Let me see your coin.
You need
my
to
God,
unlock
heads is
that
yes,
before you
tails
can
is
unlock
also
his
yes.
backstory.
Kraken, I do it.
Nope.
Body pulled me.
Good save, man.
Her father.
I knew it! Sorry. I fucking knew it since like
How old is she?
Wait, her. I thought-
That's what she said.
Well, it's been, how many months has it been? And she just kind of like mumbles under her breath. Almost 7? 6?
Is she family to you?
That I'm not going into.
Is she at least one of the 2.5?
A half.
The half. I was wondering what the half could mean, but I thought it was someone you might be on iffy terms with at times. But
Most people are on iffy terms with me at times. I'm abrasive, as I've been told.
sometimes it's needed, though. I mean, look at our previous battle with like the sudden noise from Fen. Like I saw everyone froze up, and at that moment it became someone had to take charge. The abrasive is needed sometimes to take charge, because as much as we would like to talk and discuss the perfect plan, perfect world, sometimes there is that moment of this needs to happen now.
Agreed.
That's why I've come to trust you, because more often than not, abrasive people tend to be the most honest people. I mean, Fen, I get a different story every hour.
Yes. Is he aware that Waterdeep isn't to the south?
No, he's not. The funny thing
aware
is,
now.
he did it to a Waterdeep noble, which I am actually kind of impressed. Either his mind is so far-fetched, or he is the ballsy person I ever met, and I'm leaning to the former.
I'm from the south. I found that quite interesting when I've heard down the line.
But it's one of the reasons why I came to trust you is because, like, Fen, with the different stories I get each hour, Arwynn is very much with the flow. Like, more often than not, Arwynn just seems to be there just to be there. And Kai has his moments. I'm not sure how to exactly describe it, but there's times where it's like he seems very reliable and a good friend, and there's other times where it's like he just upsets me with what he does.
Wow.
Yikes.
Dylan's disappointed.
I can't believe
Listen, listen. Dylan's
I can see
disappointed
it.
in
He
you.
just upsets me.
He's not mad, he's
That's
just
so
disappointed.
funny. No, I think it's hilarious.
I haven't had one of those moments where he was a friend, but the upsetting part I do identify with.
But from the first battle, I've seen you've been very reliable. I mean, I feel like with the first battle alone, between me and Gab, we did 90% of the work.
Certainly felt like it. Although they supposedly were dealing with something in the hallway.
Who knows what it was? But I understand, like, I came here because of family, not for good reasons, and I might more than likely go back there because of family. I understand that you're asked by one of the people you trust to search for someone. I think out of everyone here, I identify with that the most. I understand the struggle. I understand the pain. Want to share it with the class?
No.
I understand all of it, and I know you keep saying that be prepared to be backstabbed, but I know you won't do that. I don't have any logic behind it, as I tend to do when I talk in conversations, but I can see you both from the freaking monitor, and I'm getting more and more annoyed.
It's because we want the watch to be over.
I was about to say, to be fair, it has been a two-person roleplay for the last half an hour.
I'm sorry, I can stop.
No, I'm just saying, like,
But I don't think you would do it.
so it's Priscilla.
Oh, sorry.
Suit yourself.
Save myself.
Just warning you.
Before I go back to sitting down for the watch and keep an eye out, is it the
Something's
trust?
in your eyebrow. Sorry.
Not the time.
I'm sorry.
Is the trust one way?
What?
Is the trust one way? Like, is it just me trusting you, or is there trust coming from you?
I don't trust you with my life.
I would not trust me with anyone's life. Have you seen how I am physically?
But I trust you more than some others at this camp.
I can understand that.
Definitely not more than Kai.
Well, good night, D.
Night.
You return to watch. So falls asleep quickly afterwards.
It's just he's clearly exhausted.
Yeah. Awake for a very large part of the watch, considering that was a natural one.
He was just enrobed in discussion.
It's been a long week for Sylph.
But nothing of note happens over the course. I've been rolling essentially the same 3 numbers over and over on the encounter table, which is nothing happens, so an eventful night leads to morning. Everybody is awake, packing up camp. And what would you like to do after that?
Get moving.
Inspect the dragon. I mean, the wormling.
We can still call it dragon.
Is everything okay?
Yes, she is still silvery blue, very pretty. Her eyes are like a nice kind of like light blue as well.
Yeah.
Kind of looks at you, brings its snout in a little bit. Just kind of licks your face with its forked tongue.
Hooray!
Question.
Mhm.
Can I go up to I know it's gonna be weird question. I'm gonna go up to the dragon, like stare it into the eyes. Are the eyes similar or the same to the one I met on the mountaintop?
That was a silver dragon you met.
Correct.
The silvery parts are of the dragon have some similarities. The eyes are a little bit more blue on the wormling, but not a dissimilar eye color for certain. Can definitely see like the hints of like silver dragon, like
Yeah.
some fairly common traits between the two of them that they share together.
That seems pretty
Though,
standard.
as you're over and expecting it, the dragon kind of like rears back for a second and just kind of like as it kind of sneezes.
Busy.
A jet, like a 5-foot cone jet of just ice kind of like shoots out of its mouth. Not harmful, but all of the dew that is on the morning grass it kind of like goes out, like kind of becomes like crystalline and a little bit frozen on the grass. It's just kind of like
I give a head
That's
clap. Good
pretty much
job.
my week.
what?
Still just says Charlie. That's pretty much my week right there.
I'm gonna see if I can get her to freeze my water bottle. I'm gonna just go, do that
Freezing
again,
your
good
water stick?
girl, good girl. I'm just gonna make a hard breath motion at it.
Make an animal handling check. But as you say, pretty much my week, it kind of looks and just goes, and you get green in your head.
19.
Okay. What the fuck is
So it kind of just shoots out again. You're like, have to like drop it for a second because it's really cold all of a sudden, but it's not frozen, but it is like super chilled, like almost
Well,
getting to the point of like almost a little slushy.
well, your boy has a clean cold drink for
Your
the day.
boy. A cold one. If you
Holla
will.
at Crank it up with a cold one. He's your boy.
And I pat her on the head. Good job. I'm trying to encourage her natural behaviors.
Okay.
Very good. Soon we can teach her to do that to people that are bad. Bad people. So just want to make that
Let's
clear.
not have you teach.
Before
Well, good
most
idea,
people
right?
wake up, I'll just take another dip in the spring just because.
Nice. Right, so you where are you heading? You should pack up.
Left seems to be like a good answer.
Deeper into the valley? I don't know.
Well, we have to go into the valley.
Let's say you are.
At
Well,
the
you have to.
shadow
You're
of
at the
death.
edge of the valley.
Back into the valley?
Yep.
What's the specific point that they told you to look for?
Head north through the Philigus Valley. Through. Specifically through.
Yep.
The waterfall was kind of like forward and to the right, and then forward and to the left was like a 3/4 mile wide like break in between the mountains that leads towards the peninsula.
Arwynn.
Maybe they're in the town.
Maybe Arwynn leads the way this time.
Sure.
Maybe he'll get a better feel for it.
I'm not sure what to really say because there's so many unknowns, but just be careful and be safe. We both know that the guild wants you for some reason, so take extra care.
Okay. Usually I'd say no. But
Usually
because
it
you
is.
asked politely, I will.
So
Thank you.
is Arwynn leading the way?
Yep.
Changing music.
Yes.
Do the thing swerving from side to side of the track.
All right. So where are you heading towards?
As close to straightforward as possible.
What?
Nothing. Just. Yep.
You good?
I'm really proud of this music. You can.
No, I love it. It's just I know it.
No, you do
Yeah,
not.
nonsense. Custom.
Somebody wrote this specifically for me.
No, I heard like a song like this before.
Okay,
Sounds
something
a
like
Pokemon
this, but.
song.
I enjoy it. Anyways, what are you doing?
Alright, so as you head through the break in the mountains, almost as soon as you kind of clear that, it takes about maybe an hour. Before you come out on the other side, you are on an open-planed peninsula, able to see to the left and straight ahead, it's the open ocean. To the right, you can see the mountains that you are coming through are the Dragonspire Mountains. You can see the Dragonspire Strait running, and across the way there are more mountains. That is where Warlock's Crypt is. And kind of like peering around the corner of that, you can see Trollbark Forest. The Trollbark Forest. I'm making sure that was what the name was. I was like, I'm like 30% sure that's what it's called, but I do not know. You see the Trollbark Forest kind of peeking out, and then in the distance you can see a small town. kind of like wooden stone houses, kind of just like peppered in random locations. Tufts of smoke coming up through handmade chimneys. Bustling. And that is where we're going to take our break. So we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, stay tuned, and we will have some fun RP when we get back. Alright, bye. I wasn't looking at the camera, but we're back. Alright, that was a bit more than 15 minutes.
My stomach hurt. Don't worry, I'll take the fall.
Pat really appreciates me as a person, in case you can't tell. You can see just like the love,
Leaving
the
his
wonder
eyes.
in his eyes as he gazes upon my DMing skills.
Spiders.
Did you just say spiders?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll never live it down. I can't wait till you guys go to the Underdark and fight Redacted. And you also fight Wolf, the Queen of Redacted.
I'll be sick that 3 months.
Yeah, we just gotta wait until Pat catches like, what is it, the coronavirus or whatever it is?
Oh, I know, that's actually killing people.
The
Let's not.
coronavirus?
Ain't that a beer?
Yeah, it's been your turn for
We're laughing
alcoholism
because
where
we're
you
privileged
only drink
Americans,
it.
and it hasn't hit us.
I-
yet.
It did.
I don't know what we're talking about, but alright.
We're all gonna die.
Not fast
Either,
enough.
either kill yourself or get killed.
What's he
You
gonna
gonna
do?
Alright, I wake up in the morning.
Smell
gather-
like pig.
I was just gonna do that.
Alright,
I
so
gather
going
more
back at it, and bring this back on track here.
I get more flowers.
Guys, there's a village.
Appreciate me.
Very good.
Let's go.
Alright.
We're there. Now what?
We get booed out of town.
This one can say the rest of you get
Oh,
The town of all humans.
no town.
Give me 1 second to make sure I have all of the right music up that I need to.
Don't forget to put on your lavalier.
Wow.
I think she was close enough.
Apologies.
Not so trusty prince.
Oh boy.
Decimos, we did it.
I was about to say, I mean, I like books more than I like people. I continually do shit like this. I absolutely cannot read social cues. The fact that any of you think that I'm a caster of any type in real life is beyond me. Just make me a fucking rogue or barbarian and get this shit over with.
You just became a level
Barogian.
10 civilian.
I stab things. I don't think about them. And I'm not nice to them. I just stab.
If you dual class as a bard and barbarian, would you be a barbarian?
On that note, so now that I have my lavalier on and everyone can hear me,
Said non-flashbacks to Dave the Barbarian.
Enough.
My name is Dark Lord Shuckle, the silly
sorry,
Shuckle.
Dark Lord Shuckles, the silly piggy.
I love that.
Now we're sued. Anyway, so yeah, you guys,
Go towards the peninsula.
Eggplant.
you are going. No, I don't have to sneeze. I'm just trying to like get into.
Get in character.
I mean,
So, you guys wake up in the morning. You head through the entrance into the peninsula. You can see the straight to your right, the open ocean, center, left, lands splayed out ahead of you. It's probably the same. It widens out a bit. It's about 1.5 miles wide, maybe 2 miles long. Just kind of jetties out over the water. Buildings are there, smoke kind of curling up from the smokestacks. A pretty little seaside village.
oh,
Cool.
seaside.
It's on a peninsula.
It's on a peninsula.
Sorry.
Peninsula, I thought was raised.
I gave
platform.
everyone
It
vertigo.
is raised, but still by the sea. So, welcome to the village of Ocean Lily.
Is that
Huh?
one word?
Ocean lily, rose lily.
Is that one word?
What?
Ocean lily?
I look at T.
There's absolutely no connection.
Oh.
Is it one word?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I'm leading the way, right?
You and Luna.
Yep, you're leading the way.
One word.
Can I look around and see what I see with my tiefling eyes?
Roll for perception.
Can I also see what I see because I'm in front?
Roll for perception.
Look at that.
Natural one.
You're kind of like a little bit too nervous to kind of like fully take anything in because you're like, sister, 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 sister.
17.
17. It's a cute little village. You kind of, as you start writing in, you can kind of see like, you know, there's a blacksmithery, a tan, a kidder,
Where?
a nice little kidder.
Where is it in town?
Where's what?
Nothing.
The kidder.
The place.
It's wrapped around my leg is where the kidder is. Oh, you're so warm and I love you. Sorry. Oh, you came back out again. You just want to say hi.
I love you. Anyway.
Sorry. Animals. Okay. So, one of the first buildings you can kind of see is like a blacksmithery off to your left. To the right, there's like a Fletcher doing his thing. You kind of get past that, there's a tanner, someone making some barrels. A couple people working on like maybe some brewery supplies. Finally, there's like a tavern kind of off into your right a little bit. It is at this point not early in the morning, but it's like mid-morning, so it's, you know, decently active and bustling. You've also noticed some people coming up from seemingly the side of the cliff, kind of bringing up like boxes and crates of things. Yes. Peace. Thanks, Flame. All right. And then no one. You would see kind of like the person commanding the people bring the boxes, because they're kind of like setting them down at the tavern that at this point you're approaching, probably only like 80 feet from it. But the person leading them is a mouse ferox. It has like another one that has like a one of those three-pointed seafaring hats on. They appear to be pretty small in stature. They have like long, straight, like silverish blue hair. And then similar to, actually no, different from Arwynn. As you kind of like look to the side, you can see like kind of like almost pale blue eyes, which are in very direct contrast with Arwynn's red.
Male, female?
Look to be female. Based on the clothes they're wearing, they kind of have like a white blouse. It's kind of got like the first two buttons undone, kind of like really billowy sleeves.
Like a piratey look.
Yeah. But then like a black skirt that goes to about kind of like flows out, that goes to a little past mid-thigh. And then like a legging of sort that goes up around just the left leg. Boots that come up to about mid-calf, and then like a almost like a garter pack of like a little satchel on it that's kind of attached to the leg. And they have a scimitar on one side, and a device on their other side that you don't fully recognize.
Does it look similar to like what Cat carries around?
What who carries around?
Cat.
Like a smaller, different version of what Cat carries around.
Sorry,
I just
want
wanna
to
say-
the poster.
On our way into the city, every person that I see and make eye contact with.
Yes.
Have you seen this man?
Make a persuasion check, just a general persuasion check. You have to be good at those. What'd you roll?
You need
One.
help?
Wow, we're never finding him.
Tell me where it is.
I'd say you get to like the first person. Have you seen this man? No, I'm sorry. Get to the second person. Have you? A fly comes into your mouth. Have you seen? Oh.
Do you need a hand?
Fen gives you some of his ice cold slushy water and you're able to drink that down, but you're
He would never openly ask for help.
Like,
I give it to you.
seeing you choking, Fen is just like slamming it into your chest before you finally
one
just
of a
take it and
kind.
just get your bearings back. But yes, so that is everything you
I
see.
thought
as,
she was
as
just
you
gonna
guys,
dump it out.
that is everything
That'd
you
be
see
great.
as you guys ride in.
Do you need a hand with asking?
He's just like looking all around, but like holding flyers out in her hands.
I'll take some.
I'll aid
I'll take
her
one
with
too
it.
and help.
All right, make a persuasion check.
Can I give him aid? Because I'm also helping.
It doesn't matter.
That 20
Aid.
plus a 8 makes it
You
28.
run into Gruff himself.
Hey.
Have you seen this man?
What?
Hey, here he is.
Doesn't hit.
Alright guys, I'm going home.
You get to actually the cat figure,
Mhm.
who just kind of like looks down and just goes, let me see it.
Is this the Irish one?
Seems kind of familiar. Think. Might have seen him up north.
How far up north?
Well past Silver, man.
How long ago?
What was 2 trips ago? Maybe. Two moons?
Spelled something. By himself?
No, a group of them up near town.
Over other, like, do they seem to be friends, allies? Who do you know?
Seem to be getting along pretty chummy.
Were they much like him? Dressed similar?
Yeah,
And where did you find this one? Sorry.
Are you sure this was
up
him?
past Silver, man. Face looks spot on.
Do they also have the same necklace?
I ain't close enough to see no necklace.
Was there a half-elf girl with red hair?
Yeah,
Freckles?
didn't
Shorter?
get close enough to see no freckles. She's short though.
About shorter than Arwynn.
No,
Shorter than.
not that short.
Shorter than my long lost brother.
I'm sorry. That name again?
Arwynn.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it's a bit windy.
The
Thank you.
figure turns towards you, kind of just like parts the rest of you out of their way. Arwynn is what, 4'11"?
Yeah.
Standing at about 4'6".
Oh my god.
Still only at this point about 13 years old.
Who's the girl?
Oh,
It takes
That's the-
baby
That's
pirate.
it takes a couple seconds before
She knows you.
you're able to.
Oh well, I tried. I hope you found some information.
She's ignoring you for now. Sorry.
I asked her question in character, and
Oh.
it was talking as they interact.
It takes a couple seconds for it to click, but finally you look into the eyes and you can see. You very much have your father's eyes and your father's hair color, the black and the red. Your mother had like lighter, like almost like unnatural color for a minima, of like a light silvery blue. She also had really. You remember her having really pretty light blue eyes, and as you find yourself staring into these eyes, same color hair. Takes a couple seconds for everything to click because the last time you saw her, she was 3 years old. But standing in front of you is your little sister Celeste. I know we have to have good fucking music for this shit.
We have to.
Everything table says, maybe ask later.
Alright, we're gonna go quiet on this for a second just to make sure that this is what I want. Yes. This is that good shit.
This is
wholesome.
perfect.
She just kind of looks at you, wide-eyed, before finally just
What?
She said she just kind of like looks at you, silent, open-mouthed, wide-eyed. As a couple seconds go by before finally just, Arwynn?
We'll also like take a hot second to like look up, down, up at everybody else, back up and down at her. Hey, kid.
You can see like the tears forming in the corner of her eyes. She just flies forward and wraps her arms around your waist.
Just Ben and Kylie crying in the back of the group.
See, just like.
You can feel her shaking as she just sobs into you.
For sure, same.
Like right next to your ear, you just hear, I didn't know if you were okay.
I thought you got taken down with our parents.
Funny story about our parents.
I hope it's funny.
There's... Kind of goes back in and gives you another hug first. So... Dad isn't around anymore.
Cool.
Sorry.
Wait.
Just her reaction.
Wait. You want to come see someone with me, though?
Yeah.
Take all the time you need, Arwynn.
She'll take like 2 steps and then like her hand just kind of like reflexively reaches back.
Automatically takes it.
She kind of like smiles a bit. There's like full tears rolling down her cheeks now. All the people that she was bossing around before, like carrying around the crates, are just like kind of like in shock. It's a completely different tone of voice than the one that she was just speaking to you in too. It is like a switch. She will take you through to the center of the village. There's a nice little kind of like cottage that has like a small little loft built on top of it. And working on the gardens in front is you can see like a crouched over, kind of wearing like a simple light blue dress, the same color hair as your baby sister, kind of like pulled up in like a messy bun. As you approach, she just, Mom? And she just kind of like shakes and just goes, Celeste, what's got you so? Turns around and sees Celeste and then sees you and just kind of drops everything she's holding, stands up, and just kind of like walks over to you, reaches out, and just kind of like runs her fingers across your torn up ears.
I'm not short anymore.
Oh.
You're certainly not.
Stop!
I just imagine we're falling behind and Sue's having to like hold together Finn as we like try and stumble.
You've grown into quite a fine young man. My baby. She just grabs you and holds you.
Oh my god.
She is just like a mess as she is holding you.
I feel like Arwen's too stunned to actually be crying, but there's tears absolutely falling.
As your mother kind of pulls away. Oh, where have you been all this time? I thought I would never see you again.
I've been everywhere. I've mostly just been on the docks, but the past week has been really strange. Now I'm here, which is better, much better.
How did you find us? Before she can even finish, Celeste is just like, it's not important at all. Just don't worry about it. She kind of like looks at you and just gives you that pleading like little sister look of just like, please don't tell Mom.
I'll point at her secretly, and I'll cast a message and I'll be like, I got you, kid.
She kind of like gives like a sigh out. Your mom was just like, how did you find us here?
I've got some people who can navigate way better than I can.
Oh my. Are these your friends? She kind of gestured to everyone, following at like a really, really like
Respectable distance.
Yeah.
respectable distance, but also like making it really obvious that they're following you.
My
like
mage hand is
super
wiping away my
non-conspicuous.
tears.
She stayed pretty stone cold until like there was the hug of the mom and Arwynn, and then she even like. And then-
We're so happy
Does the
for
like
you.
blinking away tears.
So it's
Yeah.
looking everywhere but at it like.
Insane. And at this time, you also feel like a nuzzle up to your side, and you hear
By the way, you
your mom looks
guys,
down and just goes. It's just like open mouth, and Celeste is just like.
we got a baby.
Dragon.
Celeste just immediately like kneels down and comes back around it. Your mother's just like, no, Celeste, don't.
There's just a little drow.
She's friendly.
Ganassi half elf.
I'll hand
like,
both of
Ferox
them like
baby.
pieces of beef jerky to give to the
I
wormling.
was about to say, Celeste is just like happily feeding it. Your mother kind of like reaches down kind of softly as it lifts it out of her hands, just like kind of pets it out and pets it. After it kind of like, it does that cat thing where it's like, you know, not sure if she's a cat person, and then as soon as she like runs her hand over its head, it makes that little like noise, and then she's just like immediately drawn into it. What are you drawing?
I'm
Nothing.
trying what all of our children would look like combined.
Okay.
Monstrosity.
Because I was like, because we have a baby, and I was like, dragon.
You had it already drawn.
So I'm
Okay.
listening.
You've been in Baldur's Gate all this time, then?
Nowhere really else for me to go.
I'm so sorry. I wish we would have known. We could have brought you with us when we came here.
Shit happens.
We. She kind of like goes silent. She's battling something within herself. As Celeste goes, we didn't. We didn't really have a choice in whether we left or not. After that night, we kind of had to get out pretty quick.
I can guess why.
Yeah. That,
Was it fun? Just kidding. Sorry.
Mother kind of looks a little bit horrified, but Celeste. Obviously, you left her at 3, but a little bit more hardened now is just. I tried to help Mommy, and that butcher's knife just kind of found its way in Dan.
Oh boy.
Tough kid.
Yeah, well, you gotta die sometime.
To him better sooner than later.
Probably. It's not like he was doing us any favors. Have you... What is the other one's name? I remember both their names. God, I'm so good at backstories. I'm the best DM ever. You're welcome. Have you heard or seen anything of Gage or Avery?
I found someone who might.
Who's that?
A friend of theirs, Luna.
Kind of like looks up. There's like a flash of like recognition in your mother's face, kind of like a good recognition. And Celeste is just, monkey girl, and then just kind of like runs up, and Luna's just like, and just kind of gives her a hug. You can kind of hear like under her breath, just close enough. She gives the kid a hug.
Good.
And then as she comes up to join you, and just kind of like bows respectfully at your mom, just, nice to see you again, Mrs. Potts. Pleasure to see you again as well, Luna. Well, so, and then back to Celeste. Do you have any idea where they might be then? Kind of looking between you and Luna. Mom told me what happened to them. I think I was still too young to understand when it happened. I investigated a lot of the public jailing spaces in Baldur's Gate, but I was unable to find them. So, unless you are able to gain access to the more hidden areas where they keep people, I don't know how much luck you're going to have if they're still in the city or still alive.
I can figure something out.
Really? How? You'd have to get into the noble district first, and that's basically impossible.
Well, I'm traveling with a noble.
Ye-
You might know other nobles.
It's like wonder in
And
your
we
little
take a
sister's
step away
One
from
of
I
them-
was gonna say there's like wonder in your little sister's eyes right now, just like you are now like the cool older sibling who hangs out with like a bunch of important people.
You can
I'm
call me
also
Uncle
kind
Finn.
of friends. Finn is the Prince of Baldur's Gate in general.
Yeah.
I'm kind of also friends with the Prince of Baldur's Gate.
Just
He's really cute.
is he?
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me more about him.
I will.
Kind of like goes in for like another hug and just as soon as she wraps her arms around you and like puts her head on your shoulder, just I missed you so much.
You too, Kidlet. Kidlet.
Ah.
Are you guys gonna stick around for the night? We can host you over for dinner. I
We'll
mean,
stay
our house
forever.
isn't super big, but
That would be super cool. Can I help at team for dinner?
absolutely. You can help Mom for now, because I have to go back real quick and make sure that everyone finishes unloading my ship.
What you got going on?
Oh, so after Dad passed, we kind of had to get out of the city, and we ran into someone who could bring us here. These really nice people. They have this shop down on the bridge. They're really cool.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Are they an imports?
they are. Have you met them?
Yeah, actually, they gave us our little friend here.
They have a lot of weird stuff like that. We asked them if they could help us, and they said it would depend what. And we said we needed to get somewhere. And there were two of them. One of them was this elf man with like this blonde hair. And the other one, I think, was like maybe his sister or something. She was like this fox. She was like this fox ferox with like the ears and like the silvery hair. Forget what her name was. But we asked them if they could help us get somewhere without being noticed. And they both looked at each other and went, "People smuggling? Can do." And then they helped us.
We deal in all sorts of imports.
That's totally dumb, though.
All sorts of imports and exports.
That's insane. No, out of character. That is literally like the chaotic nature of fucking Anostriana and Soul combined at their best.
And then they go back to Thea and Val, and they're like, alright, but
The Soldar went off.
Say, Val just watching it happen, just, oh no, not another one. But yeah, they got us here. We've been here for 10 years. They have kind of like well, come here. She kind of brings your group to the side of the cliff, and as she like shows you off, there's like rope bridges and like rope and wooden like bridges and ladders that kind of go all the way down to the sea, where there's like a makeshift dock extending out of the cliff. And there are 4 boats down there. And she's like, do we have like how we bring money into the village? It's like there's like a couple of her workers going past. She kind of like stops speaking for a second. Just how we bring people into the village and how we bring gold in is we do a lot of trading, all above the table, of course, mostly.
Except for the ones that's under the water, you know?
That's kind of my boat's specialty. But regardless, there's like a trading company here, and there's this captain. He's like super duper cool. And when I was about 6, I kept bugging him to teach me how to sail and stuff. And finally, he either finally saw some potential in me, or I just annoyed the shit out of him until he said yes. But he taught me how to do all the sailing stuff. And so I just kind of like helped under him for probably 5 years. And then for the last year and a half, even though I'm kind of young, I'm pretty good at this. And I'm also pretty good at navigating. So I've served as kind of like co-captain and the navigator of one of the boats. And we do some of the less than legal stuff sometimes. But it's not like bad stuff. It's like Robin Hood stuff.
Dude, I've been doing the Robin Hood shit and the not so good shit for the past 10 years. So, you're good. Damn, that's really impressive though.
Yeah, so now I have a family on the ship, and well, I had Mom up here that I was doing my best to help provide for, so it was fun. And I have a ship almost of my own, I guess, so it's kind of like my little baby.
That's a lot more than I got to my name.
I know. Those look pretty cool. She points to your swords.
Gives you one of those. So, long story short, I met the Twilight Mouse.
Like, from the stories?
Yeah, not like from the stories.
They're real.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
3 days ago, we accidentally broke a temple and found a place of worship for Ferox.
That's kind of unbelievable, but
This one was specifically for Minima. Gesundheit. This one was specifically for Minima. And do you remember the name of the Minima from the Twilight Woods fairy tale story?
oh, like the brownish hair, all dressed up in all the armor and stuff, with like
Yeah.
a hero.
With these sword and dagger on her hip.
I guess those do kind of look like the ones from the story, don't they?
Do you remember her name?
Aurora.
Well, her likeness was ingrained into the walls with diamond and ruby and emerald. And there was an altar with those two weapons. And we did a ritual to identify them. And they were given to me.
You were
Also,
chosen to be the champion of the Twilight Mouse.
Also, I got that cool gem with all the colors.
I don't remember a gem being in any of the stories.
Evidently, there are 6.
Hmm.
One in each temple, which represents each.
There's more temples?
There's 6. Actually, there's 7. There's one where all of the gems are supposed to go and be put, but I don't know what to do with them.
I've never heard of anything like that before.
Well, first time for everything.
Fair enough. You have to tell me more about it over dinner.
For sure. It's a lot to tell.
Alright, head back to Mom's place and I'll meet you there.
Sounds good.
Oh, first, stay right here for a second.
Okay.
She kind of like points at Luna. You too. Luna just kind of nods. She comes up to the 4 of you. Very imposing height of 4'6", hat back on. Kind of like looks each of you up and down. Kind of like a hard glint in her eye.
I'm still like.
It's okay, Finn. It's okay.
So, you're friends of Arwynn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you can't be that bad if Arwynn trusts you. That said, I might be tiny, but you better take care of my big sister. Because if you don't, I'll kill you.
We would never dream of hurting him or Arwynn.
You should believe her.
She doesn't say anything, but she almost gets like a warm expression on her face of like, oh.
Upon you, do you actually say him, her, Arwynn?
Yes. I've heard him, and well,
Yeah.
I heard son, and then I heard sister.
I was
yeah,
to say, she kind of turns to you. Arwynn's too cool for her gender.
Smart.
That was the best response. That was the only acceptable response to that.
The name's all you need.
Yeah, that's
Well,
Oh, sorry.
Just-
Just crackle it.
just be sure you do. She turns around and gets back to unloading her ship. Oh, and in case you ever need a ride or anything, I'm your gal. Just come down to the docks and look for my ship.
how will I know which one's yours?
It's the Salt Blossom.
The Salt Blossom, you said?
Mm-hmm. The name of her
Gotcha.
ship.
I'll write it down.
Yes.
So I do have a training manifest. Is that ever mentioned in the training manifest?
Oh, in the trade manifest? Roll me a history check.
I mean,
No.
don't you have it on you?
With advantage because of your noble background.
History, you said?
Yes.
That would be a 12.
12. Off the top of your head, you can't recall whether or not it's on.
I would have been pulling
I was about to say, as you pull it out, you don't see it on there, but you're like, Salt Blossom. That sounds familiar. And then you can vaguely remember it being almost a curse in your father's mouth at times, as a ship that just sort of, whenever there's inclement weather that kind of disables a ship, like a merchant ship coming from Waterdeep or from Neverwinter that is laden with very noble goods for very rich families. This is a ship that always happens to be close by, ready to help. And there always seems to be, once they help out and help fix up the other ship and the other ship gets on its way and gets into port, there always seems to be a very large number of items missing from their inventory afterwards.
I'm so
And
proud.
it is uncanny how, like, they're, like, to the point where people take notice of, like, if you are stuck in a bad storm and your ship gets damaged and you come to stripped in the middle of the sea, you can be thankful that you're not dying because the Salt Blossom will be there, but the Salt Blossom is also going to rob you blind when you don't see it. So it has become, there have been more than one occasion where ships that your father has sent out have been caught in bad weather only to be rescued by the ship that ends up sailing off much faster than they can with most of their belongings. So it is a familiar name.
That's where Sylvanus' sense of wonder went.
That died long.
Stolen! It was stolen.
It was being shipped in from China, but somebody took it.
It died long ago, much like mine.
Don't worry, I think I have something that'll
Got-
revive
got-
it.
So unhappy.
It got hit by a carriage. Did more damage to the horses than to him. Anyway, you head back to your mother's. She's already starting to prep some meal stuff inside. You head in. It's warm. It's cozy. You have like a couple nice like fur throw rugs, a couple of comfy like padded chairs. It seems like they might have people over rarely, because there's just a table with two chairs, and so she's kind of just like throwing a lot of pillows on the floor and kind of like setting plates on the floor just to kind of accommodate everybody. There's a fire going in the fireplace. It's warm, it's homey, it's comforting, it's like picturesque your mom. She was always like the best bean.
A good bean.
A good bean. But yeah, you come in and she's like, are you going to help?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Alright, come on over and grab some utensils.
Sure.
Do your friends wish to help as well?
Anybody want to help?
Luna's like already like sprinting in and like taking out of her bag like a couple of spices she carries, and your mother's just like,
I'm sorry, with what?
Aren't you good with cooking, Pen?
Yeah, Luna's really
He's
good at
alright.
cooking.
He's not proficient with it by
I'm
D&D
asking
standards.
in character.
Glad someone's been putting some meat
I'm
on
asking
these
in
bones
character.
then.
Yes, I've always
Shush.
put together meals growing up.
Next, you're gonna whip
Very
out my
large
baby
meals.
pictures.
He just finds the
Don't
pillow
try
that's
me.
closest to the door and pops down. Because she's used to having to like dig out of the garbage for her trash, not
It's
cook
alright.
it.
Well, as
What the fuck is that?
so who all helps with the meal?
Noodles.
I want to see the one.
I'm no
that
good at
covered in
cooking.
book.
I'll sit down by the
Okay.
fire.
Ben, you're helping with the cooking.
Yeah, I'll help, and I'll like just cause
Climb
I like
the
to,
whole
I just
time.
like to use mage hand in like any game ever. I'll use my mage hand to like set up the plates and everything, cause I figure it can multitask.
Probably about 45 minutes later, food's almost ready. Mother would. Thank you very much for setting all the place
Oh,
settings.
not a problem at all, Mrs. Arwynn's mom.
Potts.
Yes.
That's her last name, and Arwen's last name is Potts.
Oh, silly old chap. I wasn't thinking.
Love that silly old chat.
Well, no problem. I'm sure everything's going to be delicious. And then I
But
sit down
yeah,
on.
I was about to say, food's just about ready, and right as she's serving the food onto all the plates, it's like a very nice kind of like some sautéed spiced vegetables, and like on the bottom, mixed with like some sort of like rice, and then on top is like kind of like finely cut pieces of beef and like a really like rich thick meaty sauce.
Oh my god. I feel like we're
It's
like
good.
gonna eat her out of house and home. So I'm just gonna be like, and like try to sneak the 5 gold T gave me under my pillow as like a little present for when we leave.
Meanwhile, Arwynn literally like drops 50 gold into her mother's hand.
Oh, sweetheart, you really don't need to do this.
You're feeding all of my friends.
Yes, but we're well off enough. The two of us manage.
Oh,
I
she has the same
promise.
manage. Do I have anything else?
I really hope
Do you need me to charm somebody?
Very well.
Yeah, I'll just like while they're having that
Yeah, I was
exchange.
about to say,
I
and
put the 5 gold
as
in the pillow.
dinner is served, Celeste kind of comes back in. She has like a small pouch of money as well, and she immediately empties it all out into her hands, and then immediately hands it over to your mom.
What happened? Sorry. And she did what with them?
She emptied all the coins into her hands. It looked like about 25 gold pieces, and just dropped them into your mom's hands with your gold too. And she's like, "It's like take some for yourself." And Celeste turns around and just goes, "Nope," and then just plops herself down at the seat. Specifically plops like down like right in between you and Luna, and just kind of like leans on you for a second, then bounces back and leans on Luna, and then bounces back to lean on you.
I squish, so she has to squish against Luna. Everybody squish.
With that, the wormling kind of comes up and curls in front of you, kind of like gives a couple like to your
Come squish
dinner.
too. Come squish. If you come squish too, I'll give you a bite.
I bet you
Curls
can
up.
teach her how to make
Let's say
beef
curls,
sickles.
let's say curls up onto
Ugh.
your lap. Everyone digs in. Food is delicious. Like as good as Luna's like makeshift camping meals have been. Like this is like Mrs. Potts combined with Luna's skill in combination with like access to premier ingredients is rivals some of the best meals that any of you have ever had. Rivals some of the meals that your best chef in Waterdeep have prepared.
It's the flavor of love. TM.
She would leave a gold on the table when she's done eating.
Have you seen this man?
Oh, she would ask the mom. Have you seen the sun?
Ah, there it is.
No, unfortunately cannot say that I have.
Excuse me.
Celeste kind of like goes back in and just, yeah, the only time I've ever seen him was, yeah, when I was up north, past Silvery Moon.
Sorry, this music makes me sleepy. Like the nice little music box.
I play my
So dinner comes to an end. It's a lot of like catching up, laughter, tears, as your mom and your sister almost never stop asking you questions. They seem to be very glad to have you back. Finally, Celeste is. So, when do you have to, go?
That's a good question. Where are we headed to next? I can't remember.
back to Baldur's Gate to turn in
Oh yeah, I
our
forgot we found what
mission.
we were looking for.
There's also some of our close companions are going to be back along the way.
Coming?
Some of our close companions are also going to be on the way back.
Right.
And we sort of have a
Obligations?
meeting with
No, I was hoping
Our
Colette would take care
friend.
of that.
We still need to know what she found or didn't find.
Well, Celeste kind of turns towards Lily.
I think I know where this is headed.
Just, I mean, Captain Walsh has been saying that we perhaps, need a more permanent place to dock down south. Your mom kind of like gives it some thought and Celeste kind of turns to you. If you have to leave soon, that's okay. Because maybe, it's been 10 years. We could come back to Baldur's Gate. Would you be around enough that would be okay?
I would hope so.
Well, I'll see what I can do on that front then, because you just got here, and I know you have to leave soon because you have other things to do, and kind of like look towards the mom and like debate saying it for a second. The only reason you're here is because I snuck off the ship when we were in Baldur's Gate, and I stuck a note to our door. I was to say, next to you, Lily is just like, "Excuse me, miss, you what?" She's like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine."
She snuck off the boat and stuck a note to my door so she would let me know that she was still alive.
Maybe we could come back, and I would I'd like to spend more time together, if that was okay.
Duh.
Okay, good. And you'd have to come too. She kind of says that to your mom, and your mom just goes, "Oh, well, thank you for including me."
It's mandatory.
Very well. If that becomes an option for us, then I suppose we could consider moving back. Reunite at least part of the family. If you can find Avery engaged, then it can be a whole complete family again.
We're working towards that. Man, I don't know if how Arwyn's gonna leave.
As she says, like, whole complete family again, Celeste just kind of leans into you and just loud enough for you to hear, just goes, "Then we just need to find someone to hook Mom up with."
Nah, Mom can keep the worming as a pet. It's like a cat kind of thing. You know what I mean?
As big as the house.
That should be fine.
Don't they get kind of big?
Yeah, she can like take naps with it and shit.
You guys like look over at the wormling, has like its head stuck under the pillow, thinking it's completely hidden, and it's just like kind of like peeks out a little bit, like butt wiggles, kind of like looks around and then just.
Where did she go?
Kind of like shrinks back underneath the pillow.
You have to foster her hunting instincts. Oh. Whoa, wacky. Wacky.
He's gonna leave into the wormling and be like, attack. And but like in a playful way.
She just rips my throat out.
That's playful.
Good girl.
That's what to say. She kind of like flips off the pillow to look at you and just kind of like scampers up to Fen. And
there
just,
she is.
And just sort of like goes to your leg, just sort of like nuzzles against it for like a couple seconds, and then just like
very good.
Just kind of like flops onto her back and just kind of like
flips around.
Goes for the belly pets.
Oh, what a good little apex predator you are. Well.
You.
Who are you saying this to?
We have to stop to get people on the way back, right?
Yes.
Shit.
I mean, I suppose, if anything, if there was like a hawk or messenger pigeon, we could send them a message not to wait up for us.
I mean, how long will it take you to uproot your entire life and move it to another city?
Hmm.
Put it all in the bag.
Well,
In your pockets.
Kind of like look around, and despite the fact that it's really homey, you can see like you're sitting in like the living and dining space. The kitchen that they kind of cooked in is behind you, and then to the right, past where all the pillows were, is like the equivalent of like a queen size bed. That's it. Like there's a little loft up top that has like some storage in it, but it seems to be mostly like work related supplies. It's in the same kind of crates that they were moving, and it just goes.
Well, if we have
We don't
this
really
many
have
hands to
much.
help also.
How
There's
long?
also some people here that we could travel with. Weren't and Celeste kind of like picks up on the sentence and she goes, "Oh yeah, there's this alchemist potion maker lady who's super nice, and she's probably been here for like 3 or 4 months now. But she's kind of like a traveling merchant, and I know she was going to leave to go back to Baldur's Gate soon, and she also has her." Okay, so she has this guy with her, and he's like, okay, he's like really cute. He's this like wolf ferox, and he's got these bright blue eyes, and like his face is. The mother's just like rolls her eyes, and she's like,
Oh,
sorry.
come on, who doesn't like wolf pheroxes?
So I don't know if they're like
Who doesn't like
business
wolves?
partners or married, or I'm not really sure what's going on. Once you meet them, you'll see what I mean. But he came in and he was carrying like a shield and a sword, and I know they were both going back to Baldur's Gate, and they have a cart, so we might be able to piggyback on that when they leave, because that seems to be like a pretty safe route to go. But you should stop by there tomorrow if you need any potions or anything. I'm sure she could make some for you and stuff.
T wants to know if it's going to take us
no,
longer than a week.
you wouldn't take your boat.
Well, we could, but they would. I'd probably ask for a little bit of time away from the boat, because if I take the boat, then we're doing all this while I'm working, and I'd
We'll
like
be
to
off
be
the
able
clock.
to move and settle in when I'm not working, if that makes sense. It's a lot of people to keep track of when I'm working. So once we get here, they can always meet us in Baldur's Gate, and I can start up again there and be fine, but
Do you think you could leave tomorrow?
I don't think I could leave that soon, no. I'm sorry. Maybe in like 2 weeks?
That's
I mean,
quicker than I was expecting.
I mean, I'd hate to say goodbye after, seeing you just right now, but waited 10 years, I can waited 10 years to get my big sister back, so I can wait 2 more weeks to see her again.
It's gonna suck.
I'll make it through. I'm a tough chick. She kind of like flexes her arms.
Squish. Ooh, damn.
You
Doesn't flex.
you
Push
could
his skin up to make it look like there's a muscle.
Norman's pretty fit. You're very thin.
Yeah.
you could stay with them.
Then I wouldn't get to roleplay.
This is that
No,
in
it's
character.
okay. I don't want to.
Characters.
I don't want to take you away from your friends and what you're doing. We can meet you there. If anyone tries to attack us on the road, well, it's more important things than strength. And she kind of like unhitches her like flintlock pistol and kind of twirls it.
Damn, she's packing heat, you guys. Dangerous pit.
Motherfucking strap.
Clicks it back in. So like,
Except now.
I was about to say, Lily is kind of like a little concerned by this, but is kind of like lost the battle of I don't think you should be carrying weapons on you, like probably a while back.
Just a bit. Man. Alright.
You're welcome to spend the night here at the very least. I don't think you want to be doing any traveling this time of night. It's like pitch black at this point. She kind of like goes up into one of the crates that is up in the loft and just starts throwing down like blanket after blanket after blanket after blanket until there's probably like 8 or 9 of them laying on the ground, combined with all the pillows that were there, and just goes, well, everybody get cozy. I mean, it's no 5-star inn, but you keep the fire going all night at least.
My punching table.
I had a hard time.
Me too. I like saw my laptop shift and I was like, "Is this how it is?"
Yeah, I'm sorry. Arwyn's already sitting on the edge of the queen bed.
I was about to say Celeste like goes up into the loft for a second, comes back down in like some PJ looking things, like a super large shirt, and like some really loose fitting pants, and just kind of like sees you sitting on the edge of the bed and just immediately like walks over, kind of grabs you, pulls you up the bed, and just snuggles really hard.
Much snuggle.
Much
Plenty of hugs.
I'll claim the space right in front of the fire.
I sleep like not touching the door, but like
God.
very close to it.
I try to curl up and fit my whole body on the pillow that I'm sleeping on, and it clearly doesn't work. It's like his middle and then his like legs and his head are like flopped over.
Yeah, Fen reminds me of the wormling.
To say the wormling curls up at the foot of the bed with you.
Yay!
I was about to say Luna like comes up and kind of like almost sandwiches Celeste, so it's like one of you on each side. Your mom kind of like snuggles in next to you and just kind of like nuzzles you a bit, kind of kisses your forehead and kind of like plays with your hair as you drift off to sleep. And as you do drift off into unconsciousness, you can kind of hear like a very soft sniffling from both in front of you and behind you.
And on the floor.
And your little as she chokes back up, Celeste just kind of like snuggles a little bit deeper into you. As the nighttime comes and unconsciousness takes you all on a very warm and happy reunion of the Potts family. That's the first time I've ever cried during a session, and that is where we'll end it for tonight.
Happy.
So, don't know who bet on Arwynn for the first.
It was me.
For the first backstory, for the first lore dump backstory drop, but
I think I wrote this for myself.
I was about to say, yeah, there you go. Got a little bit into the Potts family. So, hope you enjoyed your Arwynn themed episode.
That's fine. I enjoyed it. I hope it didn't suck on my end.
No, it was good.
That was I actually that's the first time
I got a little misty.
I'm trying to think if that's the first time I've ever cried during a session.
Favorite line from Arwynn.
I just like the hey kid. I was like.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did cry when we killed the wolf. I forgot about that.
What?
When Anostriana killed the wolf.
Oh.
In
She
our
cried.
other campaign.
In our
Nobody
other
knows about
campaign,
that.
Regardless, though, it was my first time DMing when I'm crying. That was fun. I hope that was everyone enjoyed. That the first of the personal arcs started. We also have some fun new people to meet next week. We have a fun potion maker and her
Pet?
assistant.
Oh.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, geez.
Just
He comes out in like a fucking
wait.
latex suit.
Oh no!
Wow, it's not.
You can only see the mouth.
It's not about him. It's about what he is. It's about her.
I'm gonna say, guys, I'm gonna be sick next week.
It's not like weird or disturbing. It's just it's going to be like a second of like what? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. Fun times all around. But anyway, yeah. Doesn't matter if you're sick next week anyway, because we ain't playing next week. You have to wait 2 weeks
I'll
to
be
get
sick
back
for
to
2
this
weeks.
shit.
I can manage it.
So, I hope all of you enjoy getting through the first personal arc, having a good time. So glad to have everybody back for the first time in over a fucking month
right?
at 5 PCs. That was great.
There's been disease and weather.
Yeah, disease and weather. So hopefully we can keep that streak going 2 weeks from now. Video of this episode will be up on our YouTube channel Wednesday at 7 p.m. Reminder once again, we'll have a filler video. Filler is such a bad word. I shouldn't have said that.
The filler video will not
No,
be
no,
next Saturday because I will not be able to do it, and I, for the most part, do all of them. So it's going to be next Wednesday when we would normally put up our VOD of the live stream anyway.
Take next Saturday to do something fun. I'm sure most of us at this table will be intoxicated.
I won't be in the States, so I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys.
No, we will not be. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed doing it for you. We love and appreciate you all out there very much. And until next time,
I don't.
we have been.
Sorry.
She does. She lies. She's a liar. She sits upon a throne of lies.
We've been the moderately misfortunate few.
I'm the rogue. I'm supposed to.
We've been the unlucky few. Thank you for watching. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be live streaming November 9th at twitch.tv/TUFDND. For more updates and content from us, check out our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at TUFDND, links in the description. From all of us here out at the Unlucky Few, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. See you later.